I know you gotta tell the story before I
Dun,
roll
dun,
it.
dun, 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 dun. Hi, everybody. How are you? So tonight I have Mr. Will, as usual, came back, and I'm so excited because I missed this crazy ass banter and me trying to get him to shut up sometimes. Miss you, Will.
Never been
Kitty's up
so
there.
high, gotta get so low. I had to sing some Black Label Society for you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. If we didn't interrupt each other, this wouldn't be a conversation with the two of us. Kitty is up there working on some bags tonight, so she's got headphones, so she'll be listening and commenting. So behave, and because she'll call you out. And we have Kevin. Right. Thanks for joining us, Kevin.
Hello. Yeah.
Great. I'm glad you guys.
Beautiful day.
Yeah, it is a beautiful day. We were just talking about the weather, and we were talking about cats and how they keep invading Will's house. So Will, tell us what happens. You have cats invading your house. They're the neighbor's cats, and the neighbor brings over a device, and
my neighbor's cats have destroyed my front lawn. I screamed at my neighbor in pure neighborly fashion. He, to his credit, I'm going to tell you, my neighbor stepped up. He really stepped up because most people would tell me to F off. I wish.
Oh, fuck, Alex. I love you, man. Go ahead, Will. I'm
so
sorry.
The device worked. The cats aren't going on the front yard. The grass is kind of growing back, but animals in general ruin lawns. Let's just be real. I don't even care about my front lawn, but I live in a pretentious neighborhood. You have to appear to be functional. That's just the way it is. Let's be real.
On the outside of the house, you have to look pretentious. Inside, nobody gives a shit.
Oh, my backyard, I got an ashtray, a little kiddie pool, and I sit there and smoke joints in. I can care less.
But nobody can see that, so it's
damn right. So the cats who have already murdered one cat, and keep in mind, I have security cameras, so I have the entire front angle inside of my house covered. So it's not like I'm just telling fishing stories. I actually have seen it happen. And when things like this happen, my neighbors, we come together because we all have cameras and we're like, hey, let's see what happened on your camera. Let's look at your camera, So the cats brought me 5 dead possums as an offering of peace. And
this is the point where I told Will that they're trying to feed him. Because that's what cats do. If they love you, they'll try to bring you food. If they're outside cats.
Wrong coast. I don't eat possums. You know what's funny? People.
I didn't say we ate the shit. My mom would go yell for the closest kid and say, "Come get this thing out of my kitchen,
delicacy
please."
somewhere.
Oh, in Georgia, I have.
So we go out and just toss it in the woods, knowing something was going to eat it.
I have redneck relatives doing Facebook lives, and we're like, "Are you serious?" Okay, so stay focused. So. There's 4 dead opossums, and I look, and the thing is breathing, and it's alive. And it's like a teenager. It's young, but it's not moving. It's injured. So I called the county. These MFers had me on hold for 45 minutes. So I'm like, all right, they're not going to pick up. So I called another county official that I know, and they're like, oh, hey, dummy, don't you know? That's just a phone number. Like basically our dog catchers don't exist anymore. We don't have an animal control. And they say because of COVID, but the infrastructure is gone. People, they keep on saying people don't want to work. It's people don't want to catch COVID. Really.
Look, that's bullshit, man, because you know what? You're paying for that guy's salary that doesn't exist.
I lost. Trust me. And so when I find we were trying to get a hold of him for 2 hours. I put an umbrella over the possum. We're feeding it water. So at this point, it's becoming personal. And I told everyone, don't effing name it. Because I know what I'm going to have to do. I know what time's creeping. It's creeping. And I'm like, look, no one's coming. This survival 101. I went and got a bucket. And my neighbor was like, no, as she's walking away. Because she knew. She was telling me not to do it. But it was injured. It couldn't move. It wouldn't move. It let me come up on it with a water bottle and feed it. Possums will fight you.
Oh, he's almost dead anyway.
And he was heavy breathing. And quite honestly, I think I gave that possum more life by giving it water. I think it lived longer because I covered it with an umbrella because it's a hot day. That thing would have died.
You absolutely did.
You know, because I get up early, so I caught it really early, you know, but it's still hot as hell here. So I ended up drowning it, and it was really dramatic. It was really traumatic. The thing looked me in the eye as I was drowning it. I did the Viking thing, right? I was like, all right, I'll look at you. Well, I'll give you a Viking death, you know. But it was sad, and it just shows that the infrastructure. Hey, Randy, the infrastructure has disappeared.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I told him that there was a more humane way to go about that. And rather than drowning the animal, you're better off putting it in a box, opening like a cardboard box, opening a hole in it, and then running your car and letting the exhaust fumes in so that it kind of gets sleepy and just like falls asleep.
Yeah, it'll go to sleep and then die in its sleep and not know.
Rather than drowning it.
You're so nice. I have like 15 Lowe's buckets lined up inside my house right here. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. No, it was because
wait a minute. That's like a stool line right there. I'm gonna take your ass out. You calm down, young man.
No, you have to man up sometimes. I had to man up and do it. Like nobody was coming. No one.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it's barbaric, but maybe at that age, you know, a small animal like that that's already incapacitated, a good whack in the head might do the trick. I mean, it's, you know, maybe a bit messier. I don't know.
Exactly. So it's funny you would say that. I have a garden spade that we use to chop the heads off of rattlers and animals like that, but it's messy if you miss. It's messy, you know. Right. So and a lot of people
car exhaust is better.
Yeah. No, because when I was younger, like same thing happened with a squirrel was injured. And I chopped its head off, and it was kind of traumatizing. So I promised myself I would never do that. And then, like a year ago, it was probably longer. Isaiah was little. I forget he's a big dude. I caught a mouse on a sticky trap. I'll never bring a sticky trap in my house again. They're inhumane.
Oh my God. Do you guys know about the electric ones? It's the most humane way to do it. It just shocks them and kills them.
No. Oh, wow.
Yep. Just shocks them, and then they're just instantly dead. Like, there's no way to do it faster than that. Yeah, it's Victor, I think, makes them. And they just take a couple AA batteries. They go in there, and they touch when they go underneath or something. There's some kind of probe in there, and they touch it, and it zaps them. And they just lay down dead. My landlord uses it, and the last time I saw her empty it, there was like 4 fucking rats in there. They call them pack rats, but they're really just they're pretty good sized mice though. Like they're out here, the mice are like they're almost the size of rats. They're like 5-6 inches long, and their bodies will be like 3 inches across. And they call them pack rats, but they're just big ass mice.
I'm not anti-animal too. Like I use environmentally safe cougar pee on my grass. I've tried a bunch of things to keep them away. You know, They sell cougar pee at Lowe's if you're interested. It's just synthetic urine that's a bigger cat. You know,
huh?
So I've tried everything.
Damn, I should try that. I could put that around the property.
Yeah, it works. Or you might have
shit out of here.
Oh yeah, it works. I swear by this stuff. We use it at my property. It even fools cougars, like real 250-pound cats.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. They're like, oh nope, that's somebody else's property. I'm gonna walk this way.
That's the one
because
thing.
You know you got to have some kind of respect, whether it's out of fear or just we don't do that. It's instinct that we don't do that to each other.
Animals aren't like us. Like. I have a dumb streak. I would fight someone that's like 7 feet tall. You know, animals aren't going to fight someone that's 7 feet tall.
Who said anything about clubbing rodents? That's fucking ox. Nobody even said that. We're talking about the most humane way to get rid of them. You're scaring mice like that. Yeah. Oh, just now Nerdy's here too. No, Nerdy, we weren't talking. We were talking about species that are invasive, that are pains in the ass and overpopulated, and humane ways to get rid of them. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, and I think this whole dilemma started with cats, right? That was actually
Yeah,
the initial.
it's
topic
we'll
there.
see what happened is that and my neighbor has two very over aggressive cats that have quite literally marked this neighborhood. They killed my next door neighbor's cat. Like they're no joke. These cats are no joke. So they're taking on like possums, but we have raccoons around here, but raccoons have no natural predators. Cats aren't
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, raccoons are pretty swift.
Oh, they're hardcore.
We got a huge family of them as well.
Exactly.
They come through
Nerdy.
frequently.
They go in your garage.
Overpopulated invasive species is what I said, and he said so things like humans.
No, that's real.
I fucking love you, Nerdy. That was like that's the second best comment tonight.
I always say, like, it doesn't make sense out here. We're expanding out into the desert all the way to the beach. We will shave a mountain down just to put a house with grass there. So we
fuck
shave
yeah.
down the natural
Yeah.
grass and the trees.
Don't
to
you
put an
love
effing
that?
tree.
Oh, it kills me. These businesses and these like apartment complexes, they go through and they wipe out every fucking tree, right? They throw all the wood away. And then they come back and sometimes they'll send it to a mill and make a few bucks off of it. And then they come back and they build the houses and then they plant trees.
Mhm. I'll never understand that shit ever.
Change your goddamn plans. Leave the big trees up. Those little ones, they're not going to do shit for like 30, 40 fucking years. You just cut down 100-year-old oak.
Here,
Yep.
there was a guy.
Just because they got to have it their way. That's what it is.
There was a guy who strapped himself to a tree here 20 years ago. And it doesn't make sense to me. They wanted to put a road through an oak tree. Just go around the effing tree. We do it here all the time. I don't understand why this one tree was in the way. But anyways, they tried to peacefully remove it's synthetic. It's in the laboratory. It smells like shit, but it works.
I'm sure Sam knows that. He's just being. It's like when we talk about like some people talk about like elephant milk or something or alligator milk, and then you're like, hate to be the motherfucker to have to harvest that shit.
Yeah, I've never heard of that one before.
Oh, go ahead though. Carry on.
Oh no, the joint's kicking. I already forgot what I was gonna say.
All right. So what do you have to say, Kevin?
Me?
Yeah, you.
I don't know. I'm killing bugs mostly right now. We do some mice and rats as well, but like mostly it's bugs. Yeah, we don't do the possums or any of that good stuff. So,
do you get those little mite mosquitoes? Do you get like those little black mite mosquitoes up there?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, there was a plague last year.
I couldn't identify it specifically. Like, oh, really? Yeah, we get a little bit of that. All of our product is like very environmentally friendly. We're kind of like the baseline for management. We don't really do serious infestation as much. So, and it's all residences. So there's no commercial stuff going on. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird experience. Like some of the bugs, I feel bad for. Like I really feel bad for spiders because we have to take out a lot of spiders, and I'm like, well, the guy's not hurting anybody. He's just gonna, eat some bigger spiders. Leave him alone.
Spiders are good.
See, that's why that's why I can't get into those kinds of businesses. Bugs. If there's a lot of them, I don't feel as bad killing most of them because that's a lot. Like you get into a little pack of spiders that were just born. There's hundreds of those bastards. So, I don't mind like killing off some of those and transplanting what I can, but killing like rodents and bunnies and nope. Fucker comes at me, I'll kill him. No. But otherwise, I can't just go up and attack something.
Oh, Mr. Shadow Kitty. See, now I'm going to be Googling cougar pee later. I am so curious now to see what MILF pops up on that one.
He said, make sure your safe search is on.
Pretty sure it's going to be some like older women and golden showers. Like,
yeah, exactly. I think that, hey, I don't kink shame. The kink business makes millions of dollars a year. I knew someone who was in the game. They make tons of money.
I'm going to say my brain went exactly where Kitty's to the letter, to the word, to the letter.
Oh, how's it going, Maya?
Maya, Hello.
We have a Maya. Hi, Maya. I love Maya. You should come on. Come up here to school these guys I'm hanging out with here.
Oh yeah.
While
No, I
Kitty and
need
I listen.
therapy. I need therapy from the conservative black person because I went looking and I found a bunch more. We're all gonna meet in a field like Vikings, just stand on both sides and war each other.
Nerdy, I tell you what. Look, Nerdy said cougar milk butter. Cougar milk butter. You know what, buddy? You get a hold of some cougar milk, you let me know. And I don't mean synthetic. I want the real shit.
They're so scary. I've seen one face to face with not in a zoo. They are so scary.
Dude, I'm telling you, I wouldn't know what I don't know what I'd shit my pants and run is what I do, which is the wrong thing to do.
So we had a giant fire in 07, ripped through half the property. And that was the only time we were ever allowed to ever take out of the animals because they were injured and they were coming after humans.
Right.
And so I used to always give speeches in safety and be like, you can't weed whack with headphones on. You can't chainsaw on a ladder, common sense things. I've done all of them. I would after I've given the speech. So I'm weed whacking with chainsaw head muffs on and earbuds inside of that. So I can't even hear my gas powered weed whacker.
All you got is music just blaring.
And I'm in the middle of the field. It's like 90 out. I'm bumping like Aussie or something, and I'm going at it. And my dad comes up with a 30-06. He comes out of the truck, and I'm like, "What did I do? I must have really pissed him off this time. He's finally gonna kill me. He's finally gonna put me out of my misery.
Motherfucker is done."
And he did an off shot, and I turn around and I see this thing. It was 10 feet from me. It could have just leapt and taken me out because I had my back turned, but it was injured and it was looking for, I think it was going to drag me off, or try to at least. I would have put up one hell of a fight.
Well, that's what I was going to say earlier when you were talking about the possums. Speaking of which, it's commonly known that when animals get hurt, they go to a water source.
Mm-hmm.
If they could move, they're going to run to whatever safe water source they know about. And they always know where that is. I've had a dog that got rolled by a truck, and the truck was jacked up. Thank God I was in West Virginia when it happened. The truck was jacked up, and so he got hit in the head with the ball, and it rolled him because he always chased cars. We kept trying to get him to stop, and we were like, "Well, he's alive. That's good." But he took off like a bolt, went right down to the creek. Ran all the way down to the creek through the hayfield, turned around, came back, and came up to us like, and we like pet him, and he like, and like that was crazy, wasn't it? Did you see that shit? Like he was not fazed by it, but at the same time, he had a scuff on his head where the ball or license plate or something hit him, and he had a patch of hair gone, and it was just almost bleeding, like that layer. Where it kind of bleeds, but not really. And it was just a square flat spot on top of his head. And he was fine, but he ran for water because that's instinct. And then when he got down that way, he was like, "Oh no, I'm good." And he came back.
That's how I knew that poor possum was done.
Possum. That's exactly my point.
That's how I knew it was done because it wasn't moving or anything.
Right.
I'm not anti-animal at all. I'm pro-animal. Actually, I'm anti-human. If you really want to get down to it, I'm always animals over people, So it was ugly. I am not happy with my adopted cats right now. I am not happy with them at all.
My adopted cats.
They're hardcore. I think they're chomping on the pot plants in the backyard. That's why they love me. I think they're chomping on them.
They're like back there going, "Dude, this is better than that dried catnip motherfucker next door has."
Yeah, we were trying to grow. My roommate was blaming the raccoons. I said, "Dude, I think it was the cats, man.
Yeah.
I don't know."
Yeah, the cats love pot. They love it. If you think about it, it smells great and tastes great. Probably to a cat, they're like, "Hey, it gets me fuzzy." Why not?
They don't even live here. These are the cats from next door, but there is his parents' cats, so there's his cats too. Essentially.
Same.
So Maya, you said, how did we get on that topic? So let me explain.
Oh yeah.
So Will had something happen at his house. Cats, they brought him possums. They brought him 5 of them. And I was explaining to him that they were trying to feed him because they've been staying in his backyard and stuff. And one of them was still partially alive and really injured and couldn't move. And Will covered it up with an umbrella and tried to feed it water and then realized this thing is dying because he still wasn't getting up. And so he drowned him to be, humanely, as best humanely as he could. And we were discussing humane ways to kill animals that are hurt or injured or whatever. So that's all we were talking about. But no, this is not an ongoing topic. It was just
you brought up a
just
really
the first 20 some odd minutes.
You brought up a really good point, though. This is the one thing I always get. I go full Karen on. The infrastructure of LA County and everywhere else is disappearing.
It's falling apart.
How many millions of dollars gets pumped into these county programs, especially here, because we have hardcore county programs here, and they didn't have a dog catcher available to even pick up the phone. Back when we used to have 4 or 5 trucks, and I know where the place is because it's like basically where I live at the bottom. I live by a giant truck stop. And so on the outskirts of town, there's a giant truck stop, and next to it is where the dog catchers are. And they,
right. You can't look and give opossum in the mouth. Oh, Randy called it a cat flop house. Basically, right. His backyard is like the cat. It's like for homeless cats, but they're not even homeless. The guy next door owns them.
It's because I always own giant dogs, but ever since my dog passed, like that, I treated my dog like he was a human, and so it hurt. I won't get a dog for a long, long time.
Right.
So the cats now know the backyard's open because there's no giant animal back there.
Freedom! Look at this area that no one's living in. This must be for us. Yep. Yeah, it's
but
true.
Also
you're right. You're right about the infrastructure. And what kills me is, I don't understand how the counties have money, and the little cities and towns and shit. They have money to build monuments for some asshole, but they don't have money to fix a bridge that somebody could probably die on because it's going to just fall in one day. And people are still driving on the bridges. There was that bridge over by San Francisco or something. It was off of I-5 or no 99. It was either 5 or 99.
Oh, I know the one that connects Stockton with the rest of.
No. It's not even a big bridge. It's just an overpass bridge. And so they were routing everybody through this Chinatown area, and I know because I drove my truck through there. So they routed us into Chinatown, and then we went into a Hispanic area or something, and then it put us back on the highway, and there was orange signs everywhere. All semi trucks and anything over 5,000 pounds or something like that, or 10,000 pounds, must exit here. And this fucking guy in this tanker drove by 8 huge 6-foot by 3-foot bright orange construction looking signs. Drove onto the bridge, it collapsed, and they said it blew so hard that they saw it was like an atomic blast kind of deal, because he had a tanker full of gasoline.
Our infrastructure gets a grade
he
of
hit
C+.
and it blew, and they said he didn't feel a thing. There's no way. Ugh. And he killed 6 to 8 people. But the point is, that bridge had been down for years.
It drives me insane that even in a town like where I live, they spent millions of dollars to put flowers in the median, in all the medians of every road. Okay, it looked beautiful for a month, but then we had a drought, and so we haven't had flowers in there for 3 years. So now we have these giant concrete planters. They're just eyesores. They're just freaking eyesores. But the county spent millions on it. It's ridiculous. But our schools are crap. And I live on the good side of town, and I'm still saying our schools are crap. So it's an illusion if you think that being on the good side of town, makes you better.
Here you go. Interstate 40 bridge into Memphis from Arkansas was closed down yesterday for cracks. You know how many times I've drove over that bridge? Dude, I can't even tell you. I've been all up and down 40 or all back and forth on 40
You know, our
and
infrastructure gets a great.
Interstate 80 too. My friends used to call me and say, "Hey, I'm here and I'm running out of hours. I need a place to stop. Where's a good place?" And I'd be like, "Oh, dude, go down to exit. It's like 260 something. You'll see such and such. And there's this little mom and pop truck stop on the right." And I knew that shit because I knew all the good places to, if you're a truck driver, to stop and sleep and get a clean shower.
But our infrastructure gets a grade of D+. It is literally crumbling, and yet McConnell has said he's going to fight tooth and nail to prevent Biden's like $2 trillion or $2 or $3 trillion infrastructure plan. Yet we need to spend that. We need to spend more than that to get our shit up to code. So our roads, our bridges, everything is gonna fucking fall apart.
Let me ask you a question, Kitty. Where's the money coming from for it?
Honestly, tax capital gains.
Taxes, yeah. And they're raising taxes on the rich people.
Tax rate.
That's why he's against it.
It was 35%. Like the baby, just a little bit. But the tax rate was like some 35%, and then Trump and McConnell dropped it down to like 15% or something like that. And Biden wants to raise it back up to like 24%. And it's like that's still less than what it was before the original tax cuts, which, you know, most of it went to the top 1% and corporation. It was a giant tax giveaway to corporations that they used for stock buybacks to artificially increase the price of their stocks and make bank.
And let's not even make a mistake. During Trump's presidency, he gave massive tax breaks to people who had house value over $700,000. If you had a certain amount of money in the bank, all of a sudden your savings went up. Trump gave massive kickbacks to rich people. You know, millions. And this was at the very end of his presidency because he knew he wasn't coming back. He knew. So it's feasible. And, you know, and I'm going to say something really quick and I'll shut up, Kevin. I won't say how much I pay every year for taxes, but it's a considerable amount. And there was a definite drop under.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, there was
Those numbers are exactly right.
There was a definite drop under difference between Obama, how much I got taxed, and a definite difference between Trump. And I'm not saying it wasn't in my favor. I'm just saying, like, they hook up people who, you know, they're crazy. They're crazy.
But
so it's feasible.
Here's the thing. Even the you know, the lower income people, like, they might have seen a slight reduction in their taxes, but those were temporary. In fact, the tax cuts that Trump passed, for 80% of people, their taxes are actually going to go up in a few years. It's going to cost them more money than what they were paying before those tax cuts were passed. I mean, it's just disgusting, and it's why the number one issue for everybody should be getting money out of politics. Because we're not going to get anything done until we get money out of politics.
Well, that's exactly why I think that they should do like, what is it, like Australia or something, where they campaign for 30 days, okay? And then 30 days, it has to be silence about the campaign so everybody could decide, and then people go vote at the end of that 30 days.
Wow.
That's how it should be.
Right.
That is 60 days is plenty enough time to look through the candidates and decide who has whatever you think is the best interest in mind. We don't need 2 years of fucking campaigning. It used to be a year. It just keeps getting longer and longer. And one more year, they start a little earlier, and then they start early, another, you know, a year early again. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's a fucking waste of money.
Yeah, both sides are guilty.
During that
somebody
time,
pointed out to me,
whoever's president, if they're running for their second term, we have to pay for them to go everywhere to campaign.
Okay, B, I agree with you, but I'm biased towards Obama But Obama ran for almost 2.5 years with Hillary Clinton and all of them.
That's what I'm saying. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
We're at 2.5 years.
Yeah, they ran forever. I was like, because at first it was a big deal that he was running for president. And I remember thinking, like, that's 3 years away. That's when I lived in Portland. I was like, that's a long time away, but they were campaigning for years. And like, it was so strange to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It wasn't like that when I was a kid. I can guarantee you that. It was not on the TV that long.
So
it was not, people weren't handing out the flyers for 2.5 years.
Even in the Ross Perot era, they ran for 3 months. They'd say, "Hey, I'm running for president," and then they'd run till November.
Yeah.
Or they'd make a little noise, do a political stunt, and then that was it.
Yeah, if it wasn't even a year.
Yeah.
I want to say the most I remember is like maybe 6 months or something.
Maybe, but because I was a news junkie when I was a little kid, because I was always at home. And like, it just seemed like such a short time to run for president to me.
Obama is a cool dude, man. People bump into him and they put that shit all over TikTok and Instagram and everything. And they just walk up to him and he shakes their hand and bullshits with them. And
that's
whatever, like if he's doing the same thing they're doing, like they were like, those guys were hiking. This group of people were hiking. There was a few women and a good group of guys. And they bumped into him in like China or something. And they were like, oh, President Obama. And he was like, hey, you guys are Americans. How the hell are you? And so they started all walking together and talking. He's just, he's way more down to earth. I'm not going to say everything he did was right, because that's never existed in any president we've ever had. But, but he was definitely above par. That's for sure.
George Bush is the same way. George Bush Jr., if you met him right now, he'd shake your hand, look you in the eye, and talk to you. He may have tried to bring on the end times, but try that with Trump. You wouldn't even be able to get within 15 feet.
Oh, God, no. He wouldn't talk to you before he was president.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and George Bush still drives a pickup truck, like an old 80s or, like 90s. It's
like a Ford, isn't it? Like orange or something, orange and white or something.
And he still drives it around his hometown. He still does,
and then you got like Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter, he didn't do. I mean, he did some good shit when he was president, but he didn't like make big action. You know what I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah,
whatever.
He adopted like
but
it.
You know what? He all right, Kevin, fine, just leave. Fuck you. No, I'm kidding. But he is now. He does stuff with homeless. Like he helps build houses and shit.
Oh, he's been doing Habitat Humanity forever.
Yeah,
forever.
Yeah. It's amazing.
People that gave back,
Yeah, and that's how it should be, man.
I'm gonna tell you,
if I like retired right now, and I had $150,000 or $200,000 a year, you know how much money that is to me?
Yeah.
My God, I would help people all the time. I'd go down to like Walmart and like clean out part of their aisle of like sleeping bags and camp lights and little heaters and go give them to the homeless people in the winter. I would do shit like that. But I can't.
You are 100% accurate.
I make less than a sixth of that. So, or about a sixth of that. So I mean, I can't. That's a lot of money to me.
And I completely understand what Maya is saying. That's dupes you. People think he's nice and interested. It's true. It's true. It's like the song "Smiling Face." He's definitely one of those. I attribute him just like any other president. I put him up on the scale with everybody else because my pops, who was an absolute homer for America, used to call Obama the gunslinger. Because Obama, if you were an enemy to America, he'd send an army of drones. Some 19-year-old kid in Virginia is driving a drone in Afghanistan somewhere, waging war on people.
Yeah.
So he wasn't the shiniest president either.
What, Kevin? You think you can just leave and not say anything and then just pop back in when you want? I'm kidding. Of course you can. Glad to see you back.
Sorry, it was freezing up on me. I had to. This might help.
Yeah, it's all
But-
good. I figured.
Every president,
Called
in
commish.
recent history, with the exception of Jimmy
Mhm.
Carter, has essentially been a war criminal.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
Jimmy Carter's the only one that wasn't a war criminal. The rest of them were.
You could, and that's what because a lot of people have talked trash to me about my flags, and the one accurate thing that someone said to me that like I was like, ooh, he was like, how do you feel someone from Afghanistan if they saw those flags? I'm like, ooh, well, I don't know, but they have another side. They would hate Americans because we've been, bombing their country for the past 20 years.
Oh God, right?
And go back to Charlie Wilson's war. We were giving them weapons to fight the Russians. They kicked the Russians out. We didn't like who they were. Then we went to war with them.
Yep.
So it depends on who you are and where you're from, To quote a crappy 90s phrase, like I'm from the belly of the beast, I can't change it.
It's like I've said many times before, we are all products of our environment.
Yeah.
And however we grew up and things that we learned as kids. I mean, they say that a person's like main personality and how they're going to think about stuff is formed by the time they're 5 years old. So then you keep adding to that until they're 18 and then they go off into the world. It's really important what you do with kids. People think it doesn't matter until they're like 5 or 6 and they start talking. No, it matters from the time they're born. It matters.
I grew up
that child
around a lot of like Vietnam vets and cigarette smokers, and I dressed like Willie Nelson because I'm from the 80s where people did dress like jean jackets and boots, and you are totally a product of your environment. Totally. My dad wore a cowboy hat. My uncle wore a cowboy hat. You're totally a product of your environment.
Yes, absolutely. And children learn what they live. And so however you can say whatever you want to a child, they're going to learn from your actions. It's like that country song. It's like the country song. The guy's driving down the road and the light turns red and he didn't see it in time. And he slammed on his brakes and the kid's chicken nuggets or fries spill in his lap and he says shit. And he's like, where'd you get that from? And he said, Dad, I'm going to be just like you.
Yeah, right.
And every action that father took in that song, the kid did the same thing. And that is exact. If you are going to be around that kid and be a good parent where that kid looks up to you at all, they're going to do exactly what you do.
Oh, yeah.
So you got to be a really good parent.
Funny story. The first time I ever cussed somebody out, I was like 2.5 years old. This guy had cut my father off in traffic. And I went full Karen and went, fuck you, fucking man, fucking hit my car, fucking man. My mom's jaw dropped. And, my dad's laughing like, yeah, you know those words too. And like, so like my parents told me the first time I ever cussed somebody out, I was about 2.5 years old. And because they cut my dad off in traffic.
Not me. I was innocent until like I was like 22.
Bullshit.
Never said a cuss word.
Calling bullshit.
Never got in a fight. Never drank. Never smoked pot. Never smoked cigarettes.
Bullshit.
Wow.
I was the definition.
I am an innocent, pure human being.
I was the definition of like a tornado teenager. I wouldn't wish my teenage years on any parent.
I really wasn't that. I really wasn't that bad in the grand scheme of things. But I had my dickhead moments. I had my asshole sneaking off, So we lived in the farm we lived on when I was a teenager. For the time I was 15 to 18 or 15 to 18. It was an old ranch house for like farmhands. So there was 3 doors on the front. So I had my own front door. Coming off my bedroom when my brothers moved out. You'll walk right outside in the middle of the night. No, but I did do some.
There is no way I would allow my child to have their own door out the house.
Yeah. I used to use the window myself, but
Well, there was a point
started
where
up
Mom
pretty early.
took the desk in my room and put it up against the wall, and I figured it was a hint, so I left it.
My father put chicken wire and mesh and like this weird frame around my sister's window, basically to let her know, like, I'm watching you. and it didn't get removed up until like 3 years ago, I think.
But look, man, my mom didn't play. Like, if you did something wrong, she wasn't one of those parents that got like passive aggressive and made comments or waited for the kid to say something. She'd be like, "What'd you do?
Yep.
You smell like alcohol. You've been drinking, haven't you? You better go to bed right now. We're gonna have a conversation in the morning." Yes, ma'am.
Nothing is more than a high
My mom was pretty free-spirited.
Dude, I'm telling you,
Like,
5'2", she'd look you dead in the eye. Oh, that must be where I get it. She'd look you dead in the eye and just tell you how it was.
No,
Go ahead,
I got away with a lot of stuff until the cops ended up bringing me home at 1 a.m. and banging on the door. That was when she caught me. I just got away with it for a while, and then did some
Knock
stupid
on
stuff.
wood, that has never happened to me. Never got brought home by the cops.
Yeah, no, it's embarrassing, but I thought I was a little badass, and I talked a bunch of shit. And my mom was actually really, really easy on me. I was kind of a pain in the butt, So, but I ended up learning the hard way as I got older.
Yeah, the truth of the story is that me and my brothers, we did a lot of stupid shit. And we went around, fucked around, and did stuff we weren't supposed to do. The good news is that Mom didn't find out about a lot of it. We were pretty smart. We were pretty smart about it, and I learned from watching them. I was like, "Oh, this is how you do it." Okay, yep, that's how I'm going to do it. So, I definitely got some bad
I'm the oldest
tips
sibling.
off of my brothers.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm the oldest sibling, so I got to be the bad influence for everybody else.
You paved the way so the youngest one would not get in as much trouble. Good job. Good job.
Now, my youngest brother my youngest brother from my father is about to start college next year. So he's the first of me and my siblings to go to college. So that's cool.
That's so positive, damn it. That is so positive.
Good for them.
I love hearing about positive things like that.
Oh my God, Mice, don't you start with Stool's hat again. You stop that shit. I will fucking ban you. No, I'm kidding. I won't. Ox said, look, so Kevin reached in and took your hat. And Mice said, Stool's hat was a mama's boy. And I'm like, he did that last night on Neil's too. And I was like, no.
Kevin's hat is actually badass. I'm not Aussie enough looking to wear something like that. That hat's badass. I totally support. I like the curl to side and everything.
I actually styled. I have a black army style boonie hat, and I actually bent the rims up and I tied them up so I could tie them up easy or flip it up. It doesn't stay up by itself. I could probably do that if I worked hard enough to use enough starch, but I got it to stand up a little bit so I could flip the other side down, and it almost does that. Not quite straight up and down like that, though.
I had to work at my hat to get this back curl right here.
Oh yeah, I bet.
I had to work at it, but that's for riding in the tractor cage.
What, Kevin?
Oh, I was gonna say, I'll give you a pro tip. This particular hat was lifted from the women's accessories aisle at Target. I don't remember how much it costed because we didn't pay for it, but yeah.
Well, okay.
A long time ago, I went through self-checkout at Walmart. I was with my pops. I used to go shop with them all the time. And we're walking out, and this guy was like, hey, I need to check your receipt. My dad looked him dead in the eye, was like, F off. F the F off.
I paid for my shit.
Yeah, he's all pride-filled. And then I'm like, dude, the guy's like, I'm calling security. He ran into a broom closet. My dad looks at me, and he's like, did that mother effer just run into a broom closet? He was trying to intimidate us. But
He's hiding in a broom closet.
But he was like this little dude. He was trying to stop us, and we basically said no. I was like, no. He was like, can I stop you? And I said no. And I just kept walking. So he's like, I'm calling security. And so we left. We get home, and my dad's like looking at the receipt, and he's like, you know what? I'm like, what? He's like, I stole the laundry soap. He had it at the bar. He never scanned it. He had never scanned it.
Don't go back in that store, dude.
So that guy was right, and we were the total a-holes for that. We were totally Jane's Addiction style. We got caught stealing, you know.
Shit happens.
Oh,
Sometimes you accidentally steal.
It was awful. It was awful. But, you know, pride, like, you know, because my dad was like, you know, rah, Mr. American Eagle, like, I never steal. We just weren't paying attention.
Right.
You know, we were just, self-checkout is dodgy to begin with.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Kitty's about to do a mukbang.
I don't know what that means.
You don't
Although
know what
I've heard the
mukbang is,
term.
though? It's when people, you haven't seen like Nick Avocado. I'm one of those people who are obsessed with YouTube. That's beautiful. People,
Still, I don't know what you mean.
okay, so a mukbang is somebody will get a large amount of food and they'll eat it on camera. So they'll order a KFC family size meal and one person will eat it. And they'll sit there and talk. Type in
What's the point of that?
hey, people get paid to play video games. 15 years ago, I used to make fun of those people, and now they got more money than me.
Oh, go streaming video games on Twitch.
I still
You make how
understand
much
it.
money now?
Yeah, exactly. Like when I saw how
Same.
much,
I was always like, I hate video games. I always lose at them. I'm not going to play them. And now I'm like, motherfucker. And there's my nephew. He's going to college so he can create games.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
And he's going to go work in LA for those people that make all that money there in Silicon Valley. He's got some shit set up, man.
Oh, there's like all kinds of man. If you
Oh
look
no,
at
I think maybe it's going to be Denver now. I think he found a company he preferred or something. But anyway,
I love Google Eats. Google Eats. I love you.
wait. It was supposed to be a family meal, not just a KFC bucket. I'm very disappointed.
No, but mukbangs are gross because like someone like Nick Avocado, which he's more on the YouTube famous side for being crazy, but like over the years, this person like is giving. They've become more morbidly obese, and they've done it to themselves. It's not like it's a condition. It's not like, you know, some people.
No, there are conditions that make you gain weight. No condition out there makes you gain 400 pounds. That's not a thing.
Yeah, unless you have
mental
a tumor.
conditions, maybe. There's some
Yeah,
fucked up shit going on in your head, maybe, but not a physical condition. That shit doesn't exist.
So mukbangs.
Well, maybe there are some serious metabolic disorders, but you still have to eat a great deal. Like,
But see, here's the thing. Here's my thing. Oh, I'm glad you said that. You're gonna let me make my point. If the doctor comes to you and says, "Oh, you have to eat these vegetables and this little amount of meat and no carbs, or you're gonna gain a bunch of weight and be unhealthy," and you do it, it has nothing to do with the condition. It was your own choice to go and eat that fucking food. Just like with me, I have a low thyroid, and I know I do, and I know that's one of the reasons I'm chunky. Do I eat healthy so I stop getting more chunky? No, I have not recently. Matter of fact, I just pulled these out of the cabinet, and I plan on eating them here in a minute. I'm making a willful choice. I know that I should be taking better care of myself. It's my choice. Same thing.
I smoked cigarettes for 20 years. I'm a born asthmatic. Winter chicken dinner, Kitty.
Kitty Orge said, "Is Kitty eating nachos with chopsticks?" No, that's actual Chinese food. Homemade Chinese food.
Okay, so it's basically home hibachi. So there's zucchini. I covered in the yum yum sauce because I'm addicted to that stuff, but it's
Oh my
mushrooms,
God.
zucchini, white rice, and steak. So
There
and
you
it's
go.
not mukbang proportions. So like this
No,
is a
no,
normal
Kitty.
amount for a person.
So, Kitty, please tell me that you know who Nick Avocado is.
I know of him, but I've never watched really any of his content.
No, the only reason I really know of this person is people who make videos about this person
Hmm.
because of what they've done to themselves. It's more of a like, hey,
Okay.
if you do
Hi,
this,
Lone.
It's like
You
a
know-
train wreck.
super.
I can have my opinions. You have yours. It's fine. If you want to hate somebody for opinions, that's
I
cool.
missed that comment. So he hates you now?
She said, I am not watching you anymore. You are not a doctor, and you can't say people are fat because they don't take care of themselves. Bye, folks. So I said, okay, go. I'm allowed to have my opinion.
I actually come from a long line of really big people.
What she doesn't know, wait a minute, let me say this real quick, just in case she's listening. What she doesn't know is I've spent most of my life either in the medical field, living with someone in the medical field, and almost married to someone in a medical field, grew up with a nurse. Okay, no, I'm not a doctor, but I know a hell of a lot more than most fucking people out there that have no medical background or very little medical background or have been like an ass wiper at a hospital or something. So, yeah, I know a lot of shit. And I don't usually brag about myself, but by God, I fucking know a lot of shit. And I'm going to tell you, still a choice. Anyways.
At
Let's move
205, almost 210, in my family, people ask me if I have an eating disorder because I'm considered skinny. You know, some people's makeup, that just is the way they are. You know, like they can't change who they are. I have a really good friend. She had 2 daughters. One is 6'2", the other one is 5'5". Genetics are weird, you know.
Yeah.
Genetics, like, you know, and when someone's 6'2", their body is gonna be proportionately 6'2", you know.
Right.
And for a woman,
Normally.
you know. So my whole point is, like, we have and my definition of healthy is nowhere near. I am the unhealthiest person you will ever meet in your life. With my lung capacity, like, you would laugh at me if you saw me at a stress test. I would pass out, wake back up, and be like, "Oh, I'm still here." Like, you'd laugh at me if you saw me at a doctor stress test. I'm a disgrace. If the Lung and Heart Association got a hold of me, they would denounce me.
So speaking of health, I do want to say now, because I know not everybody knows everything about me, and I'm not going to assume that. When I stopped being a truck driver over the road, I was 230 pounds. When I became a truck driver, I was 143. I was almost 100 pounds overweight. Why was I overweight? One, I wasn't exercising. I was sitting on my ass all day. And second of all, I wasn't watching what I was fucking eating. I was eating junk food and smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee with, well, those two things haven't changed, with a bunch of cream and sugar in it. But I don't sit on my ass anymore. And yeah, I got pounds on me. I have like 30 pounds that I could get rid of, and I would be happy because I'm normally very, very thin. So I don't want people to think that I don't know what it's like to be fat. When my brother Richard came up to me and said, he said, "Come here for a second, let's bullshit." And I said, "Sure." And I go outside with him. We light up a cigarette, and we sit down on the swing, and he says, "I'm really worried about you." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Come on, man. I mean, you've gained a lot of weight." And my brother has never said anything like that.
Oh, wow.
He's never been so concerned that he's come to me and said, "I'm worried about your health." And so I made a change. I quit eating junk food. I quit eating bread. The only thing that I ate was, like, I would eat nuts for snacks, you know, and limit how many I ate. And everything I ate was a little bit of meat with a lot of veggies wrapped up in a piece of lettuce. And I did that for a long time. And it took me 3.5 years to lose that weight, to get back down to 158 pounds. 3.5 fucking years. So no, I know what it's like. So anyway,
Like, honestly,
my rant is over.
it's kind of similar to me when I was pregnant. Like, when I got pregnant, I weighed 135 pounds. Like, And I was happy at that weight. I felt comfortable in my skin. And during my pregnancy, the first trimester, I had no symptoms. From the second trimester on, I had such severe nausea. I could not even keep down water unless I was taking the anti-nausea medication they give to chemo patients called Zofran around the clock. I was actually on a schedule for that medication so that I could keep food down. So I was
know exactly
struggling.
what Zofran is.
And I ended up, when I gave birth to my son, I was almost 220 pounds. So I
Wow.
gained like half of me almost, or just about. And
Yeah.
I could barely eat. Like I had to take medicine to be able to not throw up in order to eat. And I mean, because of my disability, like exercising is almost impossible for me. So
Right.
ultimately, like I'm just now getting down close to my pre-pregnancy weight. I'm like within 10 or 15 pounds. Like I think the last time I stepped on the scale was like 145, which okay, you know what? I had a kid. I'm fine with that. Like, you know, I'm
And that's
close enough
fine.
to
And things
that,
happen
you know.
like that. But see, the point is that you cared enough to take care of yourself afterwards and
The
correct it. You're
best
not
thing I
using
could
it
do
as a
was watch
crutch
what I ate,
because
and
that's what
and
people
I had to
do.
count calories. Like
And it
because I can't
pisses me off.
exercise, you have a
Yeah.
choice, either exercise or watch your caloric intake.
Oh,
I
whoops.
had to choose the latter.
There's chubby me right there with hair.
There you go.
I look like a completely different person.
You totally do. Looks like your cousin or something, like you're related to him, but it's not you.
I look like I look like I'm from an island somewhere off the Caribbean when I have hair. Which isn't a bad thing.
Guatemala.
Well,
Like you're in Guatemala.
What happened is when so I've told the story a million times. The court, when my ex-wife and I were bitterly fighting for custody of my son, the court made me grow my hair out for a hair follicle test. And legally they can't take your eyebrows.
Right.
And because
I remember we were talking about that.
I'm super metro, I was like a hairless chinchilla back then. Now I could care less. Now I could care less what anyone thinks of me. So I had to grow my hair out, and it was crazy. I'm bald all the way to here. I'm bald all the way back here. I didn't realize it until I had to grow my hair out.
And you're like, son of a bitch, and you wore a hat all the time.
Every day. I have a hat.
That's what I would have done.
I have every day. And as my hair grew, I just buy a bigger hat. As my hat size got, I was like, oh no. I went to the mall. I'm like, nope, let me get another one of these in a bigger size. Oh yeah, it was in the 90s. I was wearing a backwards hat like Fred Durst every day. Every day I was rocking one.
Cover that shit up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I would even, like, when my fro grew, I let the sides grow out like Sideshow Bob. I didn't care, you know. But there was no way. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sending
on
Chris to go
Thursday-
get a picture of me from back when I was at my heaviest. So you guys will get to see Fat Kitty.
Also,
I kept one picture in my phone. I kept one picture of me at my heaviest right before I bumped into my brother, and he talked to me, and I said, you know what, he's right. And it was horrible. So right now I wear 34 relaxed or medium-ish cut 36. And at that time I was wearing size 42s that were way too tight on me. I should have been in 44s.
In you're saying that in American men's size?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's
right now I'm at a 34 relaxed. I'm almost down to a 34.
That's significant. I'm a full size 38.
Look, dude, I have a belt. It's my old belt that I used to wear when I was a truck driver. So it's pretty worn out, you know, because when you sit down and you lean, move around, it wears out the holes. So I have it on my work pants, and I wear it whenever I'm going to work with my brother because I don't give a shit about it. Because we tear up our clothes when we go doing remodeling and shit, you know. So, and I said to him, I said, man, I just want to lose like another 20 pounds. I'll be happy, you know. And I was like, I was like, and I think I need a new belt. And I showed it to him, and I was on the last hole.
Yeah.
It won't go any smaller. And every other hole is just destroyed. And he goes, wait a minute, that's how much weight you lost? And I said, yes, I lost this much. This much off my waist. It's literally like 8 or 9 inches.
Whoa, you look like a
Oh,
different
that's
person.
weird, Kitty.
You look like you look completely.
I don't have a fat picture of me. I'm
You
sorry.
do. Like
I'll look.
But yeah,
Hold on, let me see if I can find a fat picture of me.
It's my concealed weapons permit. That's the only one that has like a picture of me where it's like, yeah, like this is me when I was fat.
Now I have a bunch of my cholo pictures I want to show.
This is me at my skinniest when I'm going to the gym.
Whoa, you look like somebody else.
Look, dude, I was fucking jacked.
Whoa.
When I go to the gym, that's what happens. I was the weight I am now, which is like 15 pounds heavier than this picture. And I went to the gym for 2 months. And that's how good I looked in 2 months. My arms, like, I have some arms now, but my arms were like jacked in 2 months.
So
I just have good genes. I'm a lucky motherfucker.
At my skinniest, it was right before I escaped my ex-husband. And this is one of the only pictures I have of me back then. But like you can see my hip bones protruding and
Oh yeah.
I was a size 0. I was about 85
See, that's
pounds.
too thin.
Well, I was being
You don't look like you look like you're starving yourself to death.
Well, he was starving me.
Oh, well, that's not good.
Yeah, like yeah, that.
It's definitely not good.
But yeah, I was a size 0.
Damn.
Silently digging through phone, looking for pictures of when I was skinny.
Now this was
I
where
know.
I
I'm
was
trying to find my fat
comfortable.
picture.
Here's
I don't
where
think I
I was
have it
comfortable. I was
anymore.
around like 130 or so here, and like I'm like that's a good weight for me. Like
I'm kind of sad I don't have it anymore. See, I downloaded all my shit before I got this phone. The last phone I had, they download all back then. They downloaded all your shit to like a box, and it would go into the other phone. And so I was like, well, we'll just do that. And they were like, no, your battery's too screwed. So I had backed everything up to the cloud, and so did the guy at Apple Store. And when they downloaded everything to my phone, it didn't come back. I lost a bunch of family pictures and shit somewhere out there on the cloud, and I don't even know what to do about it.
What does that even? You know, I don't trust the cloud.
No, I don't either, and I'm so mad that happened because I said so. I'm going to get all my pictures. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to like Walgreens or something and print them all out, all my family pictures that I have left before I lose more of them. I'm pretty pissed off about it, to be honest. I was ranting about it for months.
Because I'm like the family historian, I have the privilege of having your brother's beard.
That's why I showed it to you, because he went like this and it just fluffed his beard out.
That's extra wizardly.
It is extra wizardly. Oh, that's some funny shit. I love that guy. He cracks me up. He's a good dude.
I take so many pictures.
Here's me in my scrubs.
Awesome.
I've actually got compliments that I look good in them, and I'm like, they're pajamas. Who else can say, you look really good in pajamas? Like, they don't say that to people, but when you're wearing scrubs that feel like pajamas, you get compliments.
I wear leggings or yoga pants as pajamas, and like some of them like make my ass look great. Like I don't have really a nice ass. Like I have nice tits, but ass not so much. Like, but I've got some pants that I think my ass looks pretty damn good in.
Sure.
Just saying.
It says wear out the holes. B 2021. You know what I mean?
I think my butt looks pretty good in these.
That's a pretty nice looking ass. I'm okay with it. Show it off whenever you want. I mean, whatever. I'm single. I can look at whatever I fucking want. Not that I didn't before.
Hey.
The fun
Even
thing
if you're
is
not
every
single.
time I've seen a hot chick and I've been dating a girl, like when I first started dating her, and as soon as she catches me, look, I go, babe, look, isn't she hot? Do you like that? You like that kind? And so then they go, yeah, she is hot. I'm like, yeah, I think so too. So I get them to say it first so I don't get in trouble.
Here's the thing.
Ah!
Being in a committed relationship is like being on a diet. Just because you're on a diet doesn't mean you can't look at the dessert menu. You just can't have any of it.
And to
That's
answer,
exactly what I said. You can look at the menu, you just don't order.
I mean,
And-
Michael and I, one of our dear friends is a stripper. We used to go out and watch her dance together. Like we'd go
Yeah.
out and hang out at the strip club and chat with the girls, you know, and because we knew one of the dancers, like, you know, we also got some special treatment where the girls would come over and sit down with us and just chat. And like, it was great. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. I miss going to strip clubs.
It can be fun. Well, like I told you guys before, I had a friend that was a stripper, and she was so young that I was kind of like, oh, I don't want to watch her strip, because she had a hot ass body. And she was like 21 or 22 or something. She was young. And there I was, 30 something, trying not to look at her because I looked at her kind of like, she was kind of like a niece. Like that was our relationship, you know? So I was like, try not to look at her. But after I got used to it, I just started ignoring the stage whenever she was dancing. I'd play pool. And then when she had breaks, she'd come over and hang out and we'd drink and play pool together. And then she'd go back and dance again. So, and guys would just walk up to the pool table and just hand her money. She was like, thanks, sticking her bra. Thanks, sticking her bra.
hey,
If they're willing to hand it out, right?
Yeah, yes, 1000%. If
What are you
someone's
doing
willing
on
to
your
give it-
phone? What's so interesting? Oh, you're
I'm
looking for that picture.
I'm looking for my my picture, my 6-pack pictures, but I have to find an appropriate one. And I take more pictures of my kid than myself, so it's and then now I'm like reliving 2018 in my phone. I used to work out. I used to give a shit. And then 2020 hit and I'm like, no, it is cake, cornbread, and joints from now on.
Fuck
No,
it.
because let's be real, okay? I've gained, to answer what Theo said in the chat, like I've gained 45 pounds in a year. So I went from 170 to 215, back to 210 to, like I've gained a lot of weight. I'm okay with it. You just have to be okay with yourself. My pants fit. The shirts look great. Look, I've been doing push-ups. See, look at that. Look at that. Bro, see?
There you go. Oh, yeah. It's a bad picture, but this is...
You gotta take care of it, I've gained a significant
like 16,
amount of weight.
17 years old. I had poison oak on my leg.
And you know what, Theo? Bouncing on balls is extremely healthy.
You know
and
what's
good for the
funny
heart
about
rate.
this picture? When I saw it, I thought it was my sister Susan. And then I saw the thing on the leg and I was like, oh my God, it's me. We did look alike. I had no idea. I didn't know I looked halfway decent. I would have had all kinds of women. I didn't know. Now I'm old and fat.
I don't know if you can see the reflection, but that's me.
Huh. Yep. Pretty stacked.
I'm every year I'd work out and like I'm telling you, I'm on year 2 of not giving a SHIT and I'm okay with it. Damn right, tons of mice. Damn right.
Cake, cornbread, and joints equals what keeps Willie young.
It used to be, well, I can't say that now. That's inappropriate. I won't say that. My son watches these streams sometimes.
Oh my God, Randy. Somebody smack him.
Hey, to be fair, I won't say that joke either. Never mind.
Why?
One of the best tuna sandwiches I ever got was at a strip club, so be careful. Took me almost 3 years to get rid of her, too.
Oh,
I'm not
shit.
Hey,
Oh, well.
Randy's not here, so somebody has to tell a knee slapper. And you know what? Kitty's been hanging out with me all day, so it's been that kind of day.
How were you guys hanging out all day? What streams were you on?
You are my big brother now. Like you've
We were-
officially been adopted as my big brother.
we were on Burp's stream, but she only had an hour because she had a doctor's appointment.
Oh,
And
okay.
that's important. Those are way more important than yakking on the internet, you know.
No, really?
So they cut it up short, and we kept going.
I don't stay late on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays to catch up on extra stuff because I have live streams to do. But I told them I'd stay late every Tuesday and Thursday. As late as they needed me to. So, yeah. Whatever. You know, you guys just need to shut up. Quit talking so much on my stream. I'm over it.
So in the US, Theo, I don't know if the average person, the first strip club I ever went to was in Mexico.
So pretty much everybody goes to a strip club once in his life. Why just his? There's women that go to strip clubs all the time.
I went to a strip club for my 18th birthday. Yeah, I didn't go for
There
my
you go.
21st birthday, but
Why you gotta be all like that, Theo?
I've never gone to a strip club with other dudes. I've always gone with a woman I was with, or a bunch of women.
Oh,
That's the
by
way
the
to
way,
do it,
Theo, I
man.
like your new icon. That's much better than the old one. That's pretty cool. No, I don't know. I feel like 3/4 of the population, 2/3 to 3/4 of the population have probably been in a strip club.
Oh, definitely.
I hadn't gone
Thank
to
you,
one in
Theo.
America until I was 25. Because I
What now?
didn't go to a strip club in America until I was 25.
Oh,
Damn.
I had traveled around, so I'd been to one in Mexico, Amsterdam. They have different rules around the world.
that, Aunt Jur, is severely ironic.
So is it in
Kitty, read that. Isn't it ironic, don't you think? We're selling meat, but we serve vegan food. Oh, that's
I have to see if
great.
it's in Gresham now. I have to see if what side of town it's on. On
Oh my goodness.
Casa Diablo, world famous vegan strip club.
Randy said you judged the wet t-shirt contestants via Braille. Got to feel your way through it.
I know exactly where this strip club is. It's out in the middle of nowhere. Awesome. Oregon. I miss Oregon.
Yeah,
would
you know,
move there.
Oregon was pretty cool. I actually didn't mind living there.
It was one of the weirdest places. I went to a Martin Luther King Day parade in Ashland, right over the border, and it was the weirdest thing. There was 3,000 white people marching for Martin Luther King.
Was there?
Oregon is odd. Like that part of Oregon was super hippie, you know, like they cared, you know. Even before the pot law was passed, I witnessed somebody smoking a J and having a 15-minute conversation with the cop, put the J out, put the rest of it in their pocket, and they both shook hands and walked away. Like Oregon was a different planet when I lived there. That's why when it erupted and all the riots happened and everybody went crazy, I was like, but those people are fighting for their way of life too, you know?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Because when they say keep Portland weird, Portland is weird. I'm gonna have to I have it on my old Nikon. It's on this computer. I'm walking down the street. I was taking pictures in Portland. I took a bunch of beautiful pictures. There was a woman walking around with a llama. And I was like, can I take a selfie with the llama? She's like, of course. But you have to become my friend, the llama's friend on Facebook. The llama had a Facebook page. And like the rule was if you took a picture of the llama, you had to, you know, put it on their page. And I was like, cool, you know. So Portland was weird. It was just super hippie city.
I would
You know.
love to
Gotta
live
take a
in
picture of the
Portland.
llama, sure, but you gotta be friends with Facebook,
Yeah.
Facebook with the llama.
It's just
Like,
hippie friend. Like
honestly.
it's you would like it, Kitty. I don't know, but see, I lived there in 04, 05, 06, and 07.
Randy, if I
friend that
remember
lives there.
correctly, right outside of Fort Bragg, there is more than one strip club. I want to say there's about 3. Let me know if I'm correct.
Yeah, there's a few.
No, I'm telling you, you know how I know that? Outside of every single military base in the U.S., that's a good sized base, there are 2 to 3 strip clubs.
No, I laughed because
Guaranteed.
like Old Town San Diego is a giant brothel. That's why I laughed, because Camp Pendleton's there, you know. So you literally like have to ask someone, where are you from? You're not working, are you? It's Vegas rules. If a woman hits on you, you literally you have to take your life in your hand and ask them if they're a hooker or not. And there's a 75% chance if they're not a hooker, they're gonna get offended and tell you to F off.
I mean,
true. It's happened to me more than once.
Are you a hooker?
Like,
Fuck you.
It's a valid profession. It is the oldest profession.
Absolutely.
And you even see animals in nature fucking engaging in prostitution. Like, it's perfectly natural. Like, I planned on paying for med school before my disability, like, as a stripper. But, I mean, if the money was right, I would have considered doing pornography. Like, because when it comes down to it, who cares? Like, you're putting in honest day's work and you're making bank.
People who have moral hang-ups like that, I don't judge them, but but I don't have those moral hang-ups at all in any way, shape, or form.
You're welcome.
I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's okay to kink shame at what grown adults do in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. As long
You
as
know,
it is
honestly, I
consenting
don't
adults,
care.
who
I
fucking
just
cares.
I'm just not gonna have sex with people that are prostitutes. That's all. It's not my
And that's
thing.
a choice. That's fine.
Yeah. It grosses me out. I don't care if they do it.
Let me ask you a question though, and then I'm gonna would you date someone who used to be?
That would depend. I would want to know that, like, see that they've had tests done.
Yeah, of
For
course.
my own
honestly,
my own physical safety. Otherwise than that, no, I don't care. And and also I will note one more thing. Let me add. I will say that it would not be, oh, I quit being a whore last month. No. I quit being a whore 2 years ago. Okay, now we'll talk. It couldn't be anything recent or it would gross me out.
When it comes down to it, though, like, I mean, whenever you're starting a new relationship, it's a good idea to get tested and have your partner get tested. Like
I was telling you about that chick I was dating. She was picking on 2 of her exes for having herpes on their lip, and she ended up having fucking oral herpes. We went in together and got tested, and I just looked at her.
Yep, like you mother. Being from where I'm from, it's weird to me that people don't wear protection and don't get tested. Maybe they just got my generation. Like I always say, I'm from that generation where HIV and AIDS was coming up, so they scared the hell out of my generation.
My generation was the I'm still stupid, I'm going to keep doing it anyways generation.
Oof.
And then your generation said, oh, wait, people are dying. Hold on.
Yeah.
Like this ain't a joke. I don't want to die with big sores all over my body.
And I'm not going to name the state because I've been to all of them except for Hawaii. There's quite a few places in this country where women don't care if you're wearing a hat. And that's cool. If that's your thing, I don't judge you. But where I'm from, you're going to be offended because I'm going to whip a fresh hat out.
The only problem I have with it is this. One of the first, within the first like 20 or 30 cases of AIDS, this woman went in the hospital to have her baby, right?
Mm-hmm.
They did blood work on her while she was there because something was a little funny. Found out she had AIDS. She gave birth to the baby. The baby had AIDS. The husband, who fucked a prostitute and brought it home and gave it to her, left her and her 2 children in the hospital and disappeared.
That's awful.
The problem I have with it is you're taking it home and giving it to your family. Now, if you're not doing that and you're not cheating on your wife or you're not blah, 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 if you have an open relationship, cool. You know, that's on her then, or that's on him, whoever's home not doing it. But if you are cheating on someone and you're running around and picking up diseases Dude, that is messed up. That's like that. I think it should be criminal.
It is here.
Good.
So in the state
Should
of California,
be everywhere.
because we have some of the best AIDS clinics in the world, people come around the world to get treatment. And it's not just because of, and it's more up north, like in San Francisco and stuff. Long story short,
Wait a minute, Theo's calling the shelf up here where the cats go my observation deck. I love you, Theo. That's
If you
fucking
willingly-
hilarious. I'm calling it that from now on.
if you willingly, if you have HIV or AIDS, or okay, you know what? Not just HIV. If you have syphilis, if you have herpes,
Hep C.
if you Hep C will kill somebody.
Yep.
If you have anything that will kill you in the long run, and I don't know about herpes, but like
No, herpes won't kill you.
there are people who have gone to jail over giving people syphilis. There are people who
Yes.
have gone to jail over giving people AIDS here. If you
Good.
know that you have it and you do not tell someone, it's illegal here. And it has been for a while. You know, it has been for a long, long time. But like I said, people always judge me because I'll say super lefty shit. But like, you know, I'm from the land of lefties. I traveled around. Most people were nice to me. So I have a lefty view on the world. You know, wrap your shit up. You'll live longer. It's quite that simple. Like there's a disease.
Absolutely.
There's a disease that ask any serviceman who's been to Korea. They have a chart and they'll point to it. My friend was in the army. He told me he lived there off and on for years. And he told me if you catch this one venereal disease in Korea, you can't come back to America because we don't have it here. And they have 1,000% containment. So they tell people, they tell them like, hey, if you want to live here forever, go out and do whatever you want. If not, so yeah. And my friend was like this Nigerian kid from where I'm from. So he was scared of everything. He was like, oh no, I'm not touching anyone. It was hilarious. Absolutely hilarious the way he told me.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But the
Oh,
only
I
way-
wouldn't do it either. Fuck that. I want to
It's not
come back
worth it.
home.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Because you're only going to be there for a couple years. And like I've traveled around, and how many times have I moved back to California? Because it suits my way of life. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you move somewhere, if you have the means to, you move somewhere that makes you feel a little bit better about yourself.
Although, if forced, I could live in like Australia or New Zealand or Fiji or.
I was going to move to Arizona before the election, and then they lost their mind and became TERFs. Arizona has anti-trans laws now. They have all kinds of crazy stuff now. But I was going to move there because they're a America state where you could go out in the desert and blow stuff up and have bonfires, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But they're now super anti-LGBTQIA++. And the funny thing is, a state like Nevada, they know where their money is because RuPaul's Drag Race makes millions. They have a stage show there. They have trans World Beauty Contest is, guess where it's held every year? In Las Vegas. You know what I'm saying?
Of course it
So
is.
they're not passing any laws like that. Oh, Theo, I'll take you on a ride.
Theo wants to go out and get trashed with you. That's what Theo wants to do.
Yeah, you're my people. Theo.
Smoke and drink a bunch.
Yeah, we'll hang out. I gotta find that picture too. I had a friend who was from Hamburg, Germany, and he kept on saying, like, you know, I want to go to LA. Show me the real LA. So I took him to Compton to my cousin's house. and he
lived?
No, he had the time of his life. No, if you're from there, like, if you know, the world's
I
a
was
funny
being a
place.
smart ass.
You know, like, I would never recommend going anywhere you don't know. Don't ever go to a neighborhood just because you've seen it in a movie.
I am snacking on not what I want to be snacking on, so I chose chocolate because I have no other choice, Rachel.
Oh, I could. There's actually a YouTube video that like shows people where like Eazy-E's house was, Ice Cube's house in Compton, Dr. Dre's house, because their families still own these houses, you know?
Right.
Because Compton's not like what you think it is. It's actually like my neighborhood, actually.
Really?
Yeah. It's just middle class houses, like 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom houses. But in LA, it just all depends on the plot of land you're on. Deal.
Lice wants to snuff a possum with you.
Deal. I have a banjo too, so we can make an extra country. I have 2 banjos, so Mice and I can play it at the same time.
Theo, how did you go? Like, I'm gonna go to LA and get stabbed. Like, that's how you.
Okay,
How did you even get there?
but
Just
I'm
because
gonna.
you go to LA doesn't mean you're gonna get stabbed. What you do is you walk down the block, and if the people around you don't match your skin color, you turn around and go back, and that way you don't piss anybody off for walking down their street.
Well, that's
That's
not
the rule.
necessarily true because
Well, it
like,
isn't in a
white
lot of
people
places I've been.
white people are a minority in LA. So
Well,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
but most people would leave you alone.
Well, you can tell by the neighborhood. Let's be honest.
Damn right. Damn
We
right.
all know what the hood looks like. I used
No,
to
but-
deliver into the hood in all the major cities because that's where the industrial shit is and all the warehouses right next to the hood.
Theo's not kidding. I pulled off on a wrong street on Melrose, and I'm gonna say on Melrose and Heliotrope. It's like in a semi-decent part of LA. I pulled off and someone put 4 shots into my 1983 VW Rabbit.
And
let
you
me tell
took
you-
off like a bunny.
And those Germans can build cars. Let me tell you, that VW Rabbit took it like a champ. It took all 4 shots too.
That shit was originally made in World War II.
It
It
was
was
metal.
made for that. No, I'm kidding.
No, it was
I
an
don't know.
83. It was an 83, you know. But that thing, I would, man, it took a bullet to the engine block and lived. Those cars
Theo said he's going to Compton and South Central, of course.
they renamed South Central to like something square to make it sound less hardcore because they named, you know, they were trying to deter the gangs. So they named it
Right,
something
right, because
super
South
wussy.
Side.
It's
Yeah.
like something court or square now, you know.
Really?
Yeah, because and then the city tried to fight him because South Central is a famous name, you know.
Oh,
Because of a TV show and a movie, it doesn't have a good reputation.
what TV show and what movie?
They're both called South Central.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't know. I don't know if I knew about
Fox.
the TV show,
And
but I
the
did know
thing-
about the movie.
the movie show was hardcore, and the TV show was, you know, the 90s. They had a way of grabbing you, like things like that really happen. Like on the show, there's a scene where a guy's on a metro bus, and like he pulls a gun out, and everybody's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And he jumps out the window. That happens all the time in LA. You know,
Out of the window of a bus?
yeah, you can pull them. You can pull. They have red hooks on every window. You can pull it and jump out in 10 seconds. I'm down. I could take
It
you
would
there
take you
right
straight
now.
from the airport to Nakatomi Plaza and drop you off the building for talking with that European accent. Oh, drop you off at the United Nations building real fast, is what he's saying.
They've renamed it a million times, but that building is still there. That building.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's funny how a movie will the Capitol Records building, everybody has seen it. It's that scene where Jenny Gump is hanging out the window in Forrest Gump when she's about to off herself because she's all high and they're playing Freebird. Man,
Oh,
I've seen
yeah,
that
yeah. I
movie
remember
too
that,
many
but I don't know
times.
what was in the background. I was watching her feet. I was afraid she was going to jump.
I'm from LA. That was a Capitol Records building.
Was it really?
He was in somebody's office filming that scene.
That's crazy. Maybe it was a hotel room back then.
No, Hollywood is nothing but lights, glitz, and camera tricks.
No, really?
I worked at a Carl's Jr. in downtown LA 20 something years ago. Shocker, because I worked at one in Portland too. And they turned downtown LA into they used to get in the chopper because
Get to the chopper.
chopper.
That's what he's talking about.
You know what's funny? Everybody will ask you where you're from. But in LA, there'll be a ton of people that speak your language. You'd be shocked. Most people don't speak English here, and it's not Spanish. You'd be shocked.
It's a mix of some weird shit.
Oh, there's like, you know, there's tons of people from every
What?
race you can
Andrew
think of.
Dice Clay.
Oh, Ford Fairlane. So harmonica, man, in the pickers world, that's like the holy grail. That's
What is?
$150,000 car. A Ford Fairlane.
Mm.
They're rare.
Oh, I bet.
So, like, everybody wants an Impala. Everybody wants a 57 Chevy. Like a Ford Fairlane, you're not working for a year if you find one of those and get it at a decent price.
Shit, are you kidding? You know how much money that is to me? I could live for 4 years off of that and have some left over.
That's what I'm saying. My neighbor, it was a man named Gunther. He had motorcycles, all kinds of stuff in his house. He passed. Some picker paid the rights to his house. My neighbor and I were standing there. They pulled a Stingray Corvette out. My neighbor and I, we looked at each other like, we need to get to know everyone around here.
Look, when I lived in Oregon, speaking of that, when I lived in Oregon, this guy, we rented a room because we were renting a room off of this chick that I chased over there, her friends. And they got into some kind of shit. So we moved in with another friend of hers and rented a room off of him. And he went to see his family. Oh, Jenny's here. Hi, Jenny.
Howdy.
So give me 1 second to finish this and I'll get to you. So we went to see his mom and everything, and they were having this big like cookout thing. I don't remember what it was for, maybe like Labor Day or something. And so we went over there, and she was like, "Oh, let me show you this truck that his it was his stepdad, because his mom had gotten remarried and they were old as fuck. Dude was like 91 or something, and he was still running the farm and going around doing shit on the tractor and everything, So he hired her friend, his stepson. He's like, "Go brush hog this field for me. I want to plant it. So I need a brush hog." So he had the tractor and everything. He paid him like $150 or something just to do the work. And while he was back there, he's like, "I almost ran into a truck." And the old guy, I think his name was like Jerry or something. We'll call him Jerry. So Jerry said, "A truck?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's a Green International." And he goes, "Oh, I forgot I parked that back there." And he said, "Let's pull her out." So they hook it up to a pickup truck, start pulling it. It's in gear. It started and ran into the back of his pickup truck and fucked up his brand new pickup truck and did not hurt the International at all. And it was like a 53 or something, or 48. And he had got it for some guy was like selling it like, "I need money," and he bought it like 30 years before and totally forgot it was sitting there. The tires were dry rotted, but the inside was almost brand new. There was one that rip you get in the vinyl seats where,
of course,
getting in and out too much. There was that one rip that was like 4 inches long on the driver's seat, but the rest of it was fucking spotless. So he was in the middle of taking the whole engine apart, cleaning it up, saving whatever he could, and he had the engine spread out on tables. The whole entire engine was spread out on tables beside the truck. And I said, "Can I buy this off you?" And he goes, "Hell no, kid." Hi, Jenny. How are you?
That's a once in a lifetime kind of find. Everybody
forgot he bought it 30 years ago.
Everybody in the car biz wants to come up with a barn find like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And do you know which truck I'm talking about? The Internationals they made?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I knew Jenny would know. Oh, it was a beautiful truck, man. Had the original steering wheel, and the dash had like one little tiny crack in it, wherever all the dashes crack over time. But it was he left it sitting underneath the tree. The tree protected it from the sun. Huh?
How long did it sit?
I think he said like 20 or 30 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. He just forgot he bought it. He was like a 91-year-old dude. He bought it when he was like 70 or something.
Oh shit.
Forgot he bought it. Yep. It was hilarious.
That's awesome.
The guy that his stepson that mowed the thing for him, he gave him $1,000 bonus because he knows he's going to sell that truck and fucking have a nice little sweet spot to live off of until he's dead. He was a gnarly, he had that leathered skin on his arms for being out in the, he was like a farmer.
I have something weird that I've recently picked. I'll be right back.
My car self is very jealous right now. That would just be too good to find.
Dude, I'm telling you, I wanted to pet it. I touched it everywhere. The paint job still looked pretty decent. It looked like it needed to be like scuffed and retop coated. That's all it looked like was wrong with it.
Jeez.
It was insane. I've never seen anything like it in my
stuff
life.
like? Well, maybe you don't know.
What?
Usually, when a car sits on grass for an extended period, the whole bottom rots out because of the humidity.
It could have been. It could have been. But everything from the side, the bottom of the doors up, that's what I saw. It was beautiful. It was fucking beautiful. You know, the most expensive part to replace. Because really, that's the truth of it. You can go find an old frame somewhere and clean it up and replace it for a lot cheaper than you can the cab and the seats and the dash and the...
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But the metalwork, you know, if you got to replace a floor pan and the bottom of the bed have to be replaced, that's entirely possible. I mean, somebody can hammer out those pieces. But that's going to take a long time to do, and you need somebody really talented to be able to do that for you.
I mean, the bed didn't even look like it had much rust in it.
Huh.
But I mean, I don't. Like I said, I didn't look underneath of it, so I don't know what.
So I recently
the axles and everything looked like.
This is a Sears hairdryer.
Nice.
I have to look up and see what year it's from.
Dude, I remember those. That's like 73, 74. Maybe 68, 69, but somewhere in there.
It smells like hair. It still smells like hair.
It smells like
thinking
hair.
about trimming my eyebrows, though.
Yeah, mice. I could use a scuff and a top coat, too. That's a fact.
It's huge.
Kitty still hasn't looked up, and I still have this comment up. Kitty, would you read that?
Yeah, well, apparently I wasn't concentrating enough because I didn't notice that it folded over. So now I have to pick all this out and then re-fucking sew it. So.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling.
I hate when that happens.
I'm a real life picker, so pay your storage bill or some bullshit like me is gonna come and buy all your stuff.
I used to go with my friend to go to those auctions, man. She'd buy like just a random box for like $3 or $4, and it would have like $200 worth of shit in it every time.
My brother and sister-in-law have storage buildings. They are that business.
It's addicting. It's addicting. I was telling Kitty earlier, the person who got me into it, the first time I opened up a locker, it was a major score. So then it just became another addiction after that.
Yeah.
And I buy rights to houses, and I'll tell you, I've come up on comic books. I've actually scored on hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff, but I've also bought the rights to a house that had nothing but trash, and I had to haul it out.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hit or miss sometimes, you know.
Oh, a friend of mine, well, not a friend of mine, a friend of my brother's, who I've met several times, also owns some of the storage buildings. And he had rented one out. It was a double unit, you know, with a garage door size opening, 15-foot ceilings and all that kind of stuff. It was typical. And he rented it to these guys, you know, like just a couple of guys. And about 2 months later, they stopped paying their rent. So it went through all the normal procedures and getting the lock cut off and all that kind of stuff. And they go in, they open it up. And these dudes had, oh my God.
Oh no.
I should preface this a little bit. In the car biz, especially in the smaller shop biz, when you replace a set of tires, you always have a problem with disposal.
Ew.
It's so hard to get rid of tires. It's just really
they smell like shit.
So once in a while, you'll get these guys who come along and look over the carcasses and look for ones that aren't so bad, and they'll buy them for a couple of bucks a piece to put on their car, you know, and you're kind of doing a service to somebody who's flat broke. Well, then you got these other people who will buy those kinds of tires and double their price and sell them to somebody else. So anyways, there's this little market that goes on with used tires. Well, these guys apparently were going around and getting people to pay them to take their junk tires, the ones that they couldn't sell because they were so far gone, where they'll pay $1, $2.50, $3 to take this tire away. And they filled every square centimeter of this storage facility with tires.
I'd be so mad. I'd be so effing
And
Oh,
then
mad.
they
no.
didn't pay their bill.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you get stuck with people's garbage.
$1,000.
That was easily.
But you know, you could grind that
$10,000.
up. You could grind all that up.
Not you.
And-
You can't.
Well, no, I couldn't. But if you had the machinery, you could grind all that up and sell that shit, and make like I don't know, $5,000-$6,000 profit off the fucking truck.
I already
Well,
thought it
they make this stuff out of like old tires, and it's essentially almost like gravel, but it's for like playgrounds. So like if the kids take a tumble, they're landing on
Yes,
rubber as opposed
exactly what I'm
to,
talking about. You can sell it to a city or a school and make a mint off of that shit.
Unfortunately, they have learned, since so many places started buying that stuff and using it, they've also found out that in summer that stuff will go up to 160, 170, 180 degrees temperature, and kids burn their feet.
I was about to say,
They're yanking it out and throwing it away.
we actually
Oops.
part of one of the million hustles that I do is I remove that stuff. I have the heat guns and everything. I'll roll it like I'll carpet out. Add sand, $2,000. Thank you very much for like 3 hours work. I'm out of there.
Oh God. The whole business of picking up after people and I don't know how to put it. The shit that people don't think of that goes wrong, that is essential to businesses to keep them running and stuff like this. It is such an underground economy. People do not realize that. Another thing a shop is absolutely desperate for is somebody to take their scrap metal. Okay, you tie rods and old exhausts and old door and an old trunk lid and just all this shit that accumulates. So you got to get rid of that shit.
So we have scrappers.
So these guys go around. These guys go around in their pickups, and they come to the shop and they pick out of the barrel. Most shops are sell. Go ahead, take whatever you want. I'm just happy to get rid of it. Well, these guys will pick out their suspension components and stuff that are pure aluminum, high quality aluminum, and they can go get triple, quadruple the price of a soda can for this stuff. Brake rotors get a special price that other metals don't get. Steel wheels from cars get special prices. Mags, aluminum mags and stuff from cars get special prices. Catalytic converters, oh my God, you can get $300 a piece for a shit junk.
That I know.
Catalytic
Still
converter.
to this day. Still to this day, they're jacking them. They're still jacking them to this very day. They're still. I have a ring because I'm bougie, and the Ring Alert will tell you what happened, like in the neighborhood. And I was shocked. Someone recently stole a Cadillac converter, and my first thought was, "Man, they're still doing that. They're still doing that."
Yep.
You know.
Thank you, battery operated reciprocating saws.
Yeah.
Look, the last place I worked, this guy had a
Ox is right. Scrap is good.
it was like a Lexus or something, right? Car kind of in that price range. And so he had this car, and he, instead of parking it in our closed lot that is gated and has cameras, he parked on the road because it's closer to his house.
Mm-hmm.
And they put his car up on blocks and stole all 4 of his fucking tires.
That doesn't happen as much anymore.
It was weird. I was like, what'd you just say to me?
I thought that only happened in the fucking movies.
And he had
No,
the
it used to
special
happen back
thing, but they had the tool because you could buy it in any fucking store.
It used to happen all the time. Especially like.
Oh yeah, New York City. Let me tell you, New York City. I drove through there one time, and I went into Connecticut, right? And I dropped a load and picked up an empty trailer and went to come back. And the car that was sitting on the other side of the road when I drove through, I drove by it. The trunk was open, the door was missing, all the tires were gone, and a seat was pulled out of it.
Yep. When I lived
and
in
it was like 4 hours.
When I
Maybe.
lived in Stockton, California, it was at the time the car theft capital of America. It was no joke. If you left your car unlocked, you could go in your front door, close your front door. You would hear someone breaking in your car. That's how like it.
Yeah, they watch for it.
It
Yeah.
was not rare to see someone walk by the cars grabbing handles, at all.
Yeah.
You know, not at all.
Alarm goes off, whatever. They just keep walking.
No, they can care less.
They don't give a shit.
Business.
When you buy a car, a later model car, there's this point in the arc of a car's life where its value to buy and drive is not almost worth it anymore, because the car is so old and it's going to need repairs and stuff like this. That most people miss that point of the arc badly. But at that point, you can buy a car for, say, $2,000, $3,000.
Yeah.
And you will make twice that by disassembling it and selling the parts.
Oh, absolutely. I tell people that all the time. They're like, oh, I blew the motor in this. I
Yep.
don't want to replace it. I got a new vehicle. And I'm like, scrap it out.
And you
Do
sell
it like
the motor.
you pull it. Make them
sell
take
the
it
motor
off
for-
themselves. You don't have to do any work.
You sell the motor for like $500. Nobody bitches about it because it's so cheap. How much does a motor cost from your dealer if you went and bought a brand new one?
Oh, $3 grand.
$3 grand, $5 grand, $10 grand.
$3 grand for a four cylinder
grand.
that I know of.
So one
Go buy a Mercedes or a BMW engine.
Oh, no.
You'll drop 15,000.
I had a
Oh, yeah.
good friend who wrecked a Prius, and because I had the facility and the property to put it on, she told me you can have it if you can haul it. I came with the tow truck because I knew that with that car completely wrecked, those computers were worth more than my stinky ass tow truck.
Yep.
And so I hauled that thing from the 405 all the way back to Hillbilly Land out here. And man, we stripped that thing down. I even called the dealership. I was like, what parts are worth the most? And they told me flat out. And I came up. If I ever see a crash Prius, I'm going to go get that
How
thing.
much do you charge for blah, blah, blah? 500? Okay, I'm going to charge 4.
Yeah.
Now, there are some parts like computers, for example, central processing units. You have one for your engine, you have one for the tranny, you have one for the braking system, for the steering system, for the suspension system. They're all independent, all independent computers, but they do talk to each other and stuff like this. But anyways, each one of those has its own unique value, depending on how often they need to be replaced.
Right.
I wouldn't give you 50 cents for a computer for an ABS system, because they just don't die.
Yeah.
They just don't die. And 50 cents is a lot, but they make great ashtrays.
Oh, that's like my Holly. I just kind of keep it. I have a Holly I keep as a bookend. I'll show it to you. It was for a 57 Mustang. I don't even know because we scrapped it and sold it.
I don't remember. Which one was it? That's funny, man. Yeah, I was telling somebody the other day that you pullets are the shit. I said, man, you can get some really good shit there. And they were like, and I said, I went to a you pull it, and my my ex-girlfriend had rear-ended oh my God, hold on. I don't want to lie. She had a 1994 Toyota Camry, and she hit the back end of a 78 Cadillac, and the Cadillac had like a little tiny scratch, and her grill and hood and her fender were blown. What, Jenny?
I wanted to see if it was 2 or 4 barrel.
Oh.
I kept this as a souvenir when we scrapped the car.
Yeah, that's about what it's worth.
Exactly.
A souvenir, $2.
No, I was like, oh, it's a Holly. And my pops was like, don't waste your time. And when you get challenged, you're like, I'm a grown adult, but I'm going to act like a kid. I ripped this thing out. I put it in my garage and came right back and was like, we can finish now.
You know what has turned into an interesting thing? People like to buy aluminum V8 engine blocks. They clean them up, shine them up, make them look like there's not a speck of dust on them, and put a piece of glass on the top of them.
Make a table out of it.
Make them into a coffee table.
Yep, I've seen it.
So somebody paid me.
But I
too
saw
much.
it with the motor from a tractor trailer. and they had a huge piece of glass on it, and it was at this place that sold them. They
I
repaired them and
sold,
sold used ones.
I sold 2 7-foot Quicksilver surfboards to a hippie who turned it into a table, and I was shocked. Fins and all. Fins and all. Oh, yeah.
Nice. Anyway,
Total
so she hit the back of this Cadillac and destroyed the grill, destroyed the hood, and the left front fender, right? So I went to the U-Pull-It, $150, found the same color. It was just missing the little white pinstripe down the side of the fender, and pulled that shit off. There was a part of it where the grill attaches on, and it's like thinner metal, and it was bent pretty bad. And I stood there with a sledgehammer and beat the shit out of that to straighten it out enough to get the new clip on for like 2 hours.
Sledgehammer. That wasn't exactly thin metal.
Okay, well, thin compared to the frame itself.
I miss going to Pick'em. I had a life before COVID.
It was
started.
fun, dude. I had fun taking that bitch apart and putting that new shit on, and I got laid twice that night.
The scrap business, it's not just the cars. If I was in my 20s again, I'd say fuck college, and I would go into the reclamation business for old homes and buildings. One of the things that people love to spend way too much money on
Farmwood
is old timber.
Who does that for a living? That's quite literally why I can sit on my ass and judge people. What you just said is quite literally why I can sit around and judge people.
Farmwood, if you get it cheap, is $25 a board, 8 foot long, 1x6.
In up here in Wisconsin and Minnesota, there's business where people go around and they find your dilapidated barn and they buy it from you and tear it down for you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, and they pay like, $2,000. The farmer's like,
sure.
Go ahead, buddy, take that shit. They make like
in these ancient barns, you can find flooring planks that are like a foot wide and foot and a half wide.
Yep.
Timbers that are like 8x8.
and those rich people that have nothing to do with their money but to waste on their house, they will buy that shit.
Yep. So literally when you said that, I leaned over, I can see on my camera, my neighbor on their side yard has a retrofitted barn door because they have a giant side yard that leads to a pool. And so
those are nowadays.
They paid way too. And when I saw the company pull up, I'm like, "Ooh, you guys paid way too much money." The second I was like, "Ooh,
barn doors."
Ooh, because you could like, I learned from scrappers, but we'll just go out into the country to Central California. We'll just go out there and we'll just go up to like, hey, can we rip this barn down? Like Jenny said, the farmer's like, heck yeah, you can, and you're gonna pay me and haul it out. They'll help you.
They're like, go ahead. That's the snake heaven over there.
And when you get into the urban situation, older houses are built with true dimension lumber. The 2x4 is actually 2x4. Well, if someone has another old home and they're trying to restore it, they can't buy that shit. And they're happy to buy a used wall stud. Another thing is that older houses are like usually, well, not usually, but many times a 9-foot ceiling or a 10-foot ceiling. Well, today we build things with 8-foot ceilings, and so you can afford to have things that are messed up on the end a little bit, and it's still a completely viable piece of wood.
Absolutely, just cut it right off. Now you're talking my language, Jenny. Go ahead. I like talking about wood. I'm the only lesbian in the world that loves wood.
My living room has a vaulted ceiling, so I think it's like almost 16 or 17 feet at the peak, because it goes like that.
Where I used to live in Ohio, you could drive down the road and there'd be signs, barnwood.
Oh yeah.
Door hinges. There's unique door hinges that they just don't make anymore. That you can't get replacement parts for. Some of the antique door locks that use the skeleton key.
Yes.
Well, those are so fucking rebuildable. It's not funny.
Okay, so quite literally, hold on. In my desk, I have old hinges from jobs that I've gone on and things that I've found.
Oh, that's beautiful.
From old, like this is real too. That's like no joke, real. Like this came out of a press.
Nice.
Like that was made.
It sure did.
I love old fixtures, and even when I
can tell you're not bullshitting by the sound of the metal hitting together.
Yeah. I don't mess around, but I was raised by a real picker, and so I have an eye for stuff like that. So I see it, I will take it. If I'm on a job, I'm like, ooh, you don't want that? I will take it. And
here's one you'll appreciate. Up in northern Wisconsin, on the shores of Lake Superior, there's this area that had a number of ships sunk. And in those days, something down 100 feet was, you couldn't reach it. You can't do anything about it.
Oh yeah.
And so these boats sink and everybody forgets about them over time. And then somebody hears about it happening and checks out what cargo they had. And so they dive down and start to harvest these 150-year-old logs.
Oh,
Yep.
That is such.
There's a show on a channel where the guys go out into the swamps.
What
I
makes
miss
this
all those shows.
Yes,
I miss
that
all those.
that works too. The reason it works in Lake Superior is that it is so cold. When something goes down to the bottom there, it spends the next however long at 32 degrees, 31 degrees. Okay, just above freezing, and so it is preserved forever. Okay,
one tree,
and it works in a swamp because swamps are usually so hot, have such a high acid content that it will kill all the bacteria that would normally attack wood.
Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Okay, I can dig it.
So yeah, there's all kind of stuff, and these guys that are harvesting, they said, well, there's 20 years worth of wood here. and they're selling it for just astronomical prices because they can mill out these planks that are a foot and a half or more wide.
Wow.
Old growth forest.
Ox said Lake Gitchagumi.
Yep, Lake Superior.
That's funny. Crazy, man.
Yeah, isn't it?
God. Yeah, right. If I was younger and I knew then what I know now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
But don't ever.
There's places in Virginia. I don't know if people know this because it's not. I lived there for years and didn't know, until I was there for about 12 years, and I found out that in Virginia there are big forests of bamboo.
Really?
Yes, you get close to the shore. And there's some preserved, not really preservation areas, but like city or county property that nobody does anything with. And we went over there and I wanted some bamboo because I wanted to build some shit with it, right? So I saw this guy and I said, hey, excuse me, can we have some of this? And he said, yeah, you just can't cut down. I think they didn't want the little ones cut down. Or something like that. Or no, he said anything on the ground you can have. That's what he said. And there was bamboo everywhere, and a bunch of it still green, and a bunch of it just perfectly dried to use. And we were like, how are we going to cut this shit? We don't have anything to cut it with. So we're all walking around going, well, what the fuck? We don't have anything to cut this. What are we doing right now? We're in her car, in that little Toyota Camry. And this guy pulls up in a pickup truck and he drags this fucking cord out and goes across the road and plugs it in somewhere. And he's got a big long extension cord going across the road and he takes a circular saw out. And I was like, excuse me, sir. Would you mind cutting a few pieces? I have cash. And he said, I'll do it for free. So he cut us a few pieces. We got them just as long as we could. And they'd still fit in her car. And they were like poking out the window next to me as we were driving down the road.
Bamboo is an incredible wood. People, think it's all flimsy and stuff. Like, no. It's hollow. Yes, it is. But there's nothing stronger than a tube. Okay.
Yes.
And the wood itself is so dense that if you slice it and ply it with other pieces of bamboo, you've got something damn near as hard as nails.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking for like 100. I have 100-year-old metal grate that would used to go over like it was like a grill cover. I have all kinds of fun metal stuff that I've picked over the years in here.
Theo, I love your idea, and normally I do carry some kind of knife on me, but that's not going to cut the bamboo, and I think you know that.
So, Will, you're surprised
Uh,
that we have found yet another thing that you and I are complete agreement on.
I know. We need to start writing these down.
somebody
Laura-
record this. Date and time. Date and time.
No, because Jenny and I were so much alike, we fight each other, and other people think it's hostile. We kiss and make up, and other people hate me for it. But
fuck 'em.
this is my favorite Swiss Army knife right here. This is the out of all the
Oh
ones.
yeah, 'cause that's the
That's the
camping
re- that's
style.
the
You
real
can eat
thing.
with that shit.
I take this camping with me all the time, and people are like, "Oh, I'm like a geek." I pull it out like I'm ready. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm ready to eat.
Have you seen those little old military can openers that have a hinge in the middle?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I always have one of those on my key ring, and I love showing it to kids and saying, "What's this?"
Yeah, yeah, I'm right here.
No clue. And then you
Yeah,
tell
hold
them what it is, and you say, "Go open that can." And they don't have a clue how to do it. It's so funny. Like looking at a rotary telephone and going, "Duh."
Yeah. See, but I know how to do that. I also, by the way, I can open a can without that.
Yeah,
All you need is a really tough flathead screwdriver and a hammer.
yeah.
That's all
Well,
you need. Actually, you don't even need a hammer. You can use a rock or anything heavy. Anything heavy.
a good buckskin knife will do it too. Just
Yes, but you have to be really careful doing that.
well, yeah, you do, but you can use your hand for the hammer.
Yes, you can do that. I've actually done that with a screwdriver before too. But by the time I got it going to open it up, by the time I got it halfway open, my hand was fucking sore with the screwdriver. Like, it hurt. And I just did it to be an asshole. Like, no, I got it. I don't need your shit, like fucking with somebody. And I did it, but man, it hurt my hand. Yep, P38 can opener, U.S. issue. There you go.
What? Somebody has one?
I don't know. Ox said it in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know why they're called the P38, but I've heard people call them that before.
I have no idea what they're called. We didn't have can openers. We had fucking MREs with the nasty ass dehydrated beef patty in it.
Go to Google and do a search on military can opener World War II key ring. That's probably enough. That'll get you a bunch of images of it, and you'll see what the hell we're talking about. But if you don't know what it is, there's no way you'd guess what it does. Just no way.
Okay, you ready? Got it right here.
Oh, okay. Bingo.
There it is.
Yep. Yeah,
$6.
You can still buy them. $6.
$5.99. Fast free shipping with
You
Amazon
buy a box
Prime.
of them for $5.
What's that?
Used to buy a box of them for $5.
Right.
A box
Oh,
of
but they're
50 for
cool
$5.
now.
And
See,
give 'em
because
out.
here's what's happening. Everybody's going back survival. And I think it's funny. I also think it's funny that my brother left his rucksack with me that he did a lot of jumps with when he was a paratrooper. And he said, just hold on to it for me. I'll get it back one day. And I said, I still have that. He's like, yeah, I know. I'm like, yeah, well, I already have a real entrenching tool. He's got all kinds of shit in there. Oh, and he's got something very important for survival. Paracord.
Oh, yeah.
Paracord, you can do a lot of shit with paracord.
Yeah, that's a very important
I have a
thing.
bunch of paracord.
Do you?
Mhm.
My brother buys it by the
It's
spool.
good to keep around. Plus, you can get tied up with it, so that's always fun.
So for some reason, every time I share my screen, my chat freezes up. So I can't see shit now. I do not know why.
Because it can.
Because my life. Because life. Yeah, that's
Because
why.
it's Windows, and that's how Windows machines work.
Oh, there it goes. It just caught up. Hi, Kendra.
Hi, Kendra.
Ox said they look like little weapons.
What, those can openers?
Yeah, Ox said I have one from my uncle on my keychain.
You slip while you're using them, and it's going to feel like a weapon, too.
Oh my god. Not cool, dude.
You got to be way careful with those things.
Yes. They will slice right through you. Did I tell you guys what I did? My old supervisor had this knife, and I borrowed it off him one day, and he said, "You can have it. You know, the clips broke." And it's a low voltage. Somebody runs low voltage electrician's knife, and it's got like the wire strippers and everything on it. It's really fucking cool.
Oh, okay, cool.
So he gave it to me. I had it in my pocket. And I took it with me to work every day, and I used it for all kinds of shit. You know, the blade's really strong. It was super sharp. You know, whatever I needed it for, scraping shit off the floor, I'd used it for that. So finally, one day, like a month and a half later, I pull it out of my pocket, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, what is this back here? So there was a little lid on the back, and I flipped it up, and it was like covered with like pocket lint and dirt and shit because I had taken it to work with me doing renovations and everything. And I wiped it off, and it had a razor blade in it. And I cut the shit out of my finger. Like and I was like, ow! Oh man.
Owie.
Like, what dumbass?
I never leave the house without
Time
a
for
knife.
tetanus shot.
Nah, I haven't had one in I don't know how long. It's been like 25 years, 30 years for it since I've had a tetanus shot. I know I haven't had a shot for anything. I haven't had a shot for anything since I went in the army.
What
You
about
really
COVID?
should get a tetanus
So
shot
that's 30.
because honestly,
That's
tetanus is not fun.
almost 32 years now. Huh?
Go get a
You really
booster.
should stay up to date on your tetanus shots. Like, getting tetanus is not fun. Like, I was a kid, I think it was in Oregon. His family were anti-vaxxers, and like they were saddled with hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical debt because of the hospitalization that he needed when he got cut by a rusty nail and ended up with tetanus.
Oh no, I know
It's
it can be
rare,
serious.
but you don't want it.
No, I know it can be serious.
And I don't want anything to
I'm not
happen
an
to Uncle B.
hold on. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I just think if it's not broke, why fix it? If I was someone who, if I had a bad immune system and I got the flu and it was going to kill me, I would fucking make sure all my shit was up to date.
B, it's called prevention. it's why we come up with things like this, because you never fucking know.
I understand that, but
no, you don't.
Yes, I do, but I don't want to fuck with the system. This system works really good. I'm very lucky. I have fucking awesome genes. I don't want to fuck with it. Huh?
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
You can't beat tetanus.
Not versus tetanus.
I didn't say I could beat tetanus.
Well, see, but that's why you get the shot, because you might get it. Especially someone like you who's out in the world and doing rough, tough things that, you know, you're not sitting in your sterile little urban home and shit like that. They don't have to worry.
Okay, Aunt Jenny.
But you're a real person who does shit.
Fine, I'll get one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Jenny on this one.
If you're gonna live a tough lifestyle, you gotta be tough. Go get your shot.
Ox, you don't need to get a tetanus every 6 years. It's a 10-year booster. Unless you get hurt, then you get another booster.
I know. Or if you get bit by a brown recluse spider, like I got bit on the face by a brown recluse back in 2019, I think it was. It was like the end of 2019, and yeah, like I had a area of my face where it was just kind of like melting a bit. It was
it's
not
acid
pleasant.
and
I had
eats
to
your
do
skin.
antibiotics and a tetanus shot. Yeah, they gave me antibiotics and a tetanus shot, and that's really all I can do for a brown recluse bite. But it was right around the time of my birthday, and we had got a real tree, and I think the spider hitched a ride on the tree, and it it
I'm gonna
tagged
tell
me
you-
at some point. I'm just glad it was me and not my son or a pet.
Right. I'm going to tell you, though, if that was somewhere not on your face, I can tell you right now what they do for it, because I know. Because I've had friends it's happened to. One of them was an ER nurse, and she said when she went into her ER that she worked at and said, I got bit by a brown recluse, she knew what was coming. They melon balled it. They melon ball it to stop. They have to.
I
So
was
that's what they did to
fortunate
her.
that
They
I
basically did an extremely
literally-
sharp melon ball and melon balled her leg.
I went very
yeah.
quickly, after, like, I didn't let it start to get, like, necrotic before I went and sought treatment. And I mean, the main thing is like the highest risk is of infection because you'll have an open wound and your skin is to protect you from the outside germs. And when you have the
Yes.
open wound, then it gets infected and that eats away at it even more than the necrotoxins that brown recluses have.
Yeah. Read that one, and I'll show you the other one
That is
too.
not good.
And then read this one. Kendra is showing you some
Sorry,
love.
I'm not looking at the chat. Well, thank you, Kendra. I appreciate you. Yeah, there are pictures of it back on my Twitter. Like, if someone felt the desire to go back and see it, like, you can see a bright red ring and, like, this pussy blister in the center of it. And then it got worse from there. I actually stopped putting up pictures until it started to look a little bit better. And
Because it was
luckily,
so gross. Yeah.
like, I don't really have any lasting effects. Yeah.
Good.
But I don't really have any lasting effects. Like, my face is fine. I do still have a little mark over here that's never gone away, but it was off to the side of my face, like right near my hairline by my ear. So ultimately, if you're going to get bit in the face, that's where you want it, is like right over here.
Well,
where
yeah,
it's
not
covered
like
by
here.
hair. And yeah, it wasn't like in this area of my face. So I'm thankful for that. And like I said, I have cats and a dog and a kid. I'm glad it was me that got bit as opposed to anybody else, because if it was an animal, they wouldn't be able to tell me something happened and it could be really bad for them. Same thing with my son. He wouldn't
Right.
have the communication skills to be able to tell me. Whereas me,
Right.
as soon as I saw it and that bright red ring around it, I was like, oh, motherfucker.
Yep,
And I went
that's
to the
the first
hospital.
sign.
So
Yeah. Hey, and Theo, if you
I
call me a
actually-
pneumococci again, that's it. We're done, buddy.
I don't even know what that is.
It's the vaccine for the flu.
it's
No,
yeah.
pneumococci is the bacteria that causes pneumonia.
I mean, oh, I'm sorry. You're
Pneumonia.
right. You're right.
That
I
sounds
lost
like
it
a
for a minute
kinky.
there.
It
You're
sounds
right.
like
It was pneumonia, not the flu.
sounds like some kinky sex moves that'll get you in trouble. You do it with the wrong person.
I mean, as long as they're consenting, go for it.
Randy said, I got bit by a spider-legged woman. She was long, lean, and built for speed.
I just had a heart-to-heart with one of my neighbors. Gotta have
Oh,
that
don't
neighborly
worry, Ox. I'm getting
communication.
vaccinated for COVID. My bosses are making me anyway, so I was just trying to wait it out for a while.
What did you do to your neighbor this time?
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Just let me know if I need to read the chat because I'm trying not to fuck up and have to unpick this again.
Will, who did you piss off this week?
So, it's an ongoing saga, but a while ago, this young man, I honked at somebody, and this guy was in like 2 cars up, and he ran out and he punched me in my face. Then he ran into his car and drove off. True story. So I got in a high-speed chase because I'm crazy. I chased him down, I pitted him, and I punched him in his face a few times. Came to find out he lived on the other block. Long story short, he tried to start drama again, and I told him, I'm a grown-ass man. You need to go back to your mommy's house, And I was just telling my neighbor right now that, like, when people, if you don't raise your kid, someone like me will end up raising your kid. So raise your kid. End of rant. Raise your kid. That's all I got to say. Or some a-hole like me is going to teach him a life lesson and they'll never forget.
I know, Maya. I'm getting vaccinated. I was just waiting to see if other people were gonna fucking die and shit first. I wanted to feel like safe about it because I don't put the only thing I put on my body besides this crap right here. I take my medicine for my PTSD and shit, and that's just so I don't kill people and lose my job. I don't like putting anything in my body. I don't like doing. So I'm very, very cautious about it, and I'm very, very cautious about it. One of the reasons is because I have one kidney.
Oh,
Shit freaks me out, man.
oh.
I don't want to be. Oh, I just turned 50. I'm on dialysis. I'll be dead by 60.
Well,
I really don't want to go there.
Tell the cannibals they can't make any more than one pie out of you.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, kidney pie's gross.
Kidney pie.
So when I went overseas, I learned that pudding is something different in the UK than it is in America.
And yes, Maya, I know I'm uneducated and I don't know how the body processes the vaccine. I have no idea. If you have that information, let me know because I would like to know, and I don't know what to believe online. So.
And Kendra, it was a while ago, but every time I see the kid, I still I'm a no nonsense kind of guy. Gets me in trouble sometimes.
If you want to learn how a vaccine works, go listen to anybody in the right wing today and know that none of that is true.
Well, I don't want to find out the lack of truth. I want to find out the truth. Kendra said, I can't believe that person hit you like that.
Oh, he's a chump. And the problem is,
yes, Maya. Okay.
There's
right. They will say that.
I let loose on the kid, but I taught him a lesson though. And now, see, the thing is the younger generation, I don't even want to say it. If too many people make excuses for you, you will be a failure in life. If you live other people's excuses, if you allow other people to speak for you and make excuses for you, you will be a complete failure in life.
Yeah.
So
sure.
When you come to me with cosigners, and I'll laugh at you. I laugh at you. Take responsibility for your actions, and you won't have to deal with someone like me.
Ox, how I do it is this. If I read something, I go find at least 2 other sources about the same topic. And whatever matches up, I assume is the closest to truth I'll ever get online.
Well, that's a good habit, but you have to consider those sources because it's entirely possible to get 3 absolutely crank.
Well, I mean, you got to be careful with your sources, of course, but
yeah, I mean, I would go with
God,
what
please
the CDC
be careful with
or
your
the World
sources.
Health Organization. Yeah, no, you should be going to the scientists and the doctors, like what the CDC and the World Health Organization, they're not evil masterminds trying to fucking take over the world or anything,
Dude, I
they're
want
the
5G
closest
everywhere
to reality
I go.
and truth you're gonna get. Right? I get my second COVID vaccine tomorrow, actually. And Michael has his first. Chris got both of his already. And as soon as they open it up to my son's age group, I will be registering him that day to get his COVID vaccines. Full stop. No question whatsoever. I care about kids are dying. People are dying. And I mean, a lot of people are scared because the mRNA technology in the Pfizer and Moderna is new. However, they've been working on that technology for years. This is just the first real world full-on application of it.
Oh, I know.
The reason why they were able to get it to market so quickly is because, one, they cut some of the bureaucratic red tape and were able to streamline the process, whereas instead of doing the different parts of a trial where you would do A, B, C, D, they were able to do, say, A and C at the same time and B and D at the same time, which allowed it to go smoother and faster. And when SARS happened, SARS is also a coronavirus. And back a few years ago when SARS showed up, they started working on a vaccine using the protein from that outer shell. Corona means crown. And so the coronavirus, They look like little they got spiky little crown looking things on the outside when you look at them under a microscope. Well, that little crown has a protein in it that helps it to attach to the cells. These mRNA vaccines are using a snippet of that protein to basically teach your body, hey, if you see this protein, fucking gun up. It's time to go to war. And
Right.
so it's not even, a lot of people are like, oh, it's going to give you the virus. You're going to shed viral particles. No,
That's
that's
what
not
it
how
looks
it
like.
works. There's no virus in it whatsoever. There is literally coding for the protein in the coronavirus outer shell so that your body can learn how to fight it. And that's why, even though we're getting new variants, the vaccines are still, so far, knock on wood, effective against the strains that are out there. But that might not stay the case.
But see, that was my other thing too. I didn't want to get a vaccine. And then they go, oh, wait, we need to give you another one. Oh, wait, we need to give you another one. I wanted to let things cool down a little bit and I could just get like one or two.
The mRNA virus or vaccine type is basically an instruction book. There's no virus in it. People cannot get sick from it. If they react funky and maybe get a headache or something like that, okay, fine. But these people saying, "Oh, I got the flu after I got that shot," bullshit. You did not get the flu because there's nothing in there that can cause the flu.
Okay, so now they might have. Okay, maybe they had a lowered immune system, and then they picked up the flu. That's possible, but the shot didn't give them the fucking flu.
Exactly.
Well, yeah,
and
sure.
You can also have similar symptoms to that because the vaccine is meant to trigger an immune response. Some of the things they put in it force your body's immune system to go into overdrive because they want your body to pick up and recognize this. So some people can have an immune response that it would then cause them to feel kind of like flu-like symptoms. It's not actually the flu, it's just their body's immune response. I mean, a runny nose, that's your body trying to drain stuff out of your nose. A cough, that's your body trying to get rid of stuff. A fever, that's your body
just
trying
like when
to
you have
burn off
diarrhea, it's because
the
there's something
infection.
bad in your intestines and it's trying to get rid of it.
Exactly. It's your body's defense mechanisms. It's just a vaccine sends those into overdrive by design.
Yeah, your body knows all about Taco Bell.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's good. You want to go get a colonoscopy? Don't drink that shit. I'll tell you what to do. Go to Taco Bell. Clean you right out. Yep, that's a fact. No, yes, I do work at a doctor's office. Yes, I have discussed the vaccine with the doctors. I've heard a lot of good things about the Pfizer vaccine and the fact that it's got the rating of not being able to not being able to catch it afterwards. I think it's the Moderna is at like 86% or something, and Pfizer is at like 100.
Moderna and Pfizer are both in the 90s. The Johnson and Johnson, Moderna and
99.
Pfizer are both in the 90s. One's like 94 and one's like 95 or 96. Like they're very, very close.
Okay. Oh, okay. I was told it was like 86 and
98
or something, or 99, or yeah. Okay.
It might be on some of the new strains, which is possible because every time someone gets
it's
infected,
changing so
the
quick.
virus
They could
has
have
a chance
told
to
me
mutate,
something from
and
4
the
months
more it
ago.
mutates, yeah.
You know. Yeah. No, you're right.
But some protection is better than no protection. I mean, because not only is it killing people, but I mean, it's causing lasting harm and damage to people. It's fucking up their lungs. It's fucking up, people are getting blood clots from it and losing limbs.
I know.
In fact, it's even been shown to increase depression and anxiety, and it even caused depression and anxiety, COVID. Like people are actually
COVID
getting
in general.
mental
Yeah.
health
I know.
Yes, they are actually getting mental health problems because of it, and not just because they got sick. No, it is literally fucking with people's brains. And people, again, they've gotten fucking blood clots and lost limbs.
Right.
People have had their lungs permanently scarred. Like it is not pretty.
Yeah. Thank you,
And
Dave.
the vaccine is the
But
best
like I
chance
said,
you
this
have
was told to me a few weeks ago, so that shit changes all the time. So I don't know. I don't know what it was a month ago. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I believe that the vaccines are a little less effective against all of the vaccines are less effective against some of the newer strains, but they are still effective. They're just less effective. So,
Right.
again, if something is better than nothing. Like
Yeah.
having a
Absolutely.
raincoat in a monsoon is better than having nothing. You know, I mean, sure, an umbrella or shelter would be ideal, but you know, work with what you got.
I don't know. I prefer to walk in sand with my socks on. And
You're weird. You're a fucking weirdo, Jenny.
have you
Like,
ever walked in
holy
sand with
hell.
socks on?
Yes.
No.
I don't think I ever have.
right through
I
the
don't like
socks.
sand.
Yes, it does. And it collects in the socks.
I don't
Yeah.
like it. I hate that feeling. I fucking hate that feeling.
Really? I surfed forever. I love the feeling
Dude.
of sand on my feet.
My son tracks in dirt all the time. I wear socks constantly because my leg is hypersensitive to touch. So even the fabric of my pants rubbing against my skin causes me pain. So I wear thigh-high socks to cover as much of my leg as I possibly can. And like he'll track in dirt or something and I won't notice it and I'll step in there and then it gets in my socks and it literally is like stepping on tiny little fucking pinprick. It is so fucking uncomfortable. I hate it. It's the worst.
That sucks. Oh. Well, I'm getting hungry, guys.
I got to
I'm gonna
go
shut this off soon.
yell at young Mr. Sewing to get in the shower because he's took this advantage to completely ignore what I asked him to do an hour and a half ago.
Of course he did. Of course he did. Anybody have any final thoughts they want to say?
Kids will be kids.
There you go.
Get vaccinated, wear a mask, socially distance, don't be a dick.
And teach your boys before they hit puberty that they're going to stink if they don't take a shower.
And
Thank you,
make
Jenny. I
sure
hope-
that your fabric's lying flat before you go to sew it. Otherwise, you're going to have to unpick it 3 times like I did.
Because YouTube sucks sometimes, Sarah. Go in and unsub to me and then resub. And I bet you start getting notifications. I've had to do that several times with different people.
It's happened to me too.
Yeah.
I heard someone say it one time and I thought they were just like kind of saying it, but it happened to me.
No, it happened. I've had to do it with like Math Pig, Manda. I don't even know how many people. A lot of people. So, anyways, everybody, thank you for coming tonight. Everybody on my panel here, thanks, guys. You know I love you guys, and I appreciate your brains and great conversation we always have. Everybody in the chat.
Just send the check.
The day I have money, Jenny, you'll have some. Everybody in the chat, thank you for coming, and I appreciate your brains as well. You guys always have good conversations over there. I love reading it. So everybody take care of yourself, take care of one another, and have peace in your life.